embarrassment for Shopify Rebellion last night. They had a devastating loss and are looking to bounce back against... Sorry, let me just check my notes one more time. The best team in the tournament. Oh, well... Nothing comes easy at the Six Invitational. Shopify Rebellion will have to do much better than what we've seen from them so far if they want to topple the world champs.
FaZe Clan made their debut at the Six Invitational yesterday after having a bye on Monday. So that means FaZe Clan's running the gauntlet 4 straight days of matches in a row. And, well, blink and you miss that they played yesterday. They went up against their regional counterparts of Black Dragons, the team that made it here through the SAL Last Chance qualifiers. And boy, oh boy, it didn't look like Black Dragons showed up very much at all for yesterday's matchup. FaZe Clan demolishing them, crushing them, annihilating them, slaughtering them, disemboweling them. Whatever terminology you want to use. It was 7-1, 7-1.
Yeah.
That is a drubbing. And I mean, they know each other, they play each other quite often, but man, It looked like FaZe Clan has not missed a beat.
No, and for any maybe Rebellion fans that didn't watch that FaZe Clan Black Dragons game, you and I had the pleasure of casting it, Parker. Let's be honest, that could have easily been a 14-0. I mean, FaZe were having a good time with it. They were having fun with Black Dragons. And the rounds they lost, frankly, they didn't have to lose if they didn't want to.
Yeah, it was not a particularly well-structured series for this FaZe Clan team. It looked like they were pugging it out. It looked like they were playing ranked. They were running around. Cyber was doing stuff that was, defying logic, an affront to God and man, frankly. But, I mean, when you're FaZe Clan, you can do that. And I know that for old heads that watch this esport, they will recall the whole saving strats thing that G2 talked about ages ago.
Sure.
But it is just smart gameplay. Why give up strategy and show how you're actually going to handle real adversity when you can just have a good time, show up, have some laughs, and still ultimately win it? I mean, I don't think there was ever a period of time where FaZe Clan was in jeopardy at all yesterday in their matchup. Total stark contrast to Shopify Rebellion. After their matchup on Monday, I think a lot of people were like, wow, they handled G2 very effectively. This team is the real deal. And then they get bottled by D+, a team that many had being the worst in the group.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, SR should not be having a good time in this game, but there's a reason we play these matches, Parker, and there's no doubt the talent that this Rebellion roster has. So we've got to see that shining through today. It'll start, of course, attacking top floor of Nighthaven Labs, by far the most popular bomb site on the map. Good Maverick work to start things off from Surf. We'll get the IT wall open. I know for Shopify Rebellion, they always say, a good saying from Canadian that we've said from time to time, is that when you're attacking this top floor site on Nighthaven, you need to have IT walls +1. So you need 2 of 3 IT connector rafters. You've got to have at least 2 of those entry points. Shopify Rebellion clearly getting IT now. Where else do they go for their second point? Based on player positioning, it looks like it's going to be kind of Rafters Aqua side for that second dimension to the push.
And this is commonplace, whether it's Clubhouse or Nighthaven Labs, this part of the map will need to be handled as there's an Azami present. Explosions galore, the Azami now being watched quite heavily as Souls is under fire. There's air jabs going out, there's flames in front, drones being sent his way. The air jab knocks him into the fire and in the flames, Spoit will capitalize. The first kill of this series goes to the Swede.
Great coordination between Rexon and Spoit. They work together to clear out the Azami. Souls, the most deadly player of the tournament so far after yesterday's 4.0 KD, 4.75 KDR, I should say. Putting up against Black Dragons. He gets dispatched early, and another one as Ambi takes down Vidaking.
Great start for this team. They are on familiar territory. Shopify Rebellion may be a lot of things, but one thing they are is consistent on this map. They are a great Labs team. They should be able to handle this, even if they are on the unfavorable side. Handy with the lone kill so far for FaZe Clan, and that'll be all she wrote. Rexon doubles up, Canadian gets active as well, and the first round goes to the North Americans.
Nothing complicated to start things off for Shopify Rebellion. They go in for Rafters. A little bit of a pinch from Ambi as he comes in from meeting side and kind of applies that third dimension to the push that was already pretty complicated. But FaZe Clan didn't move too much, tried to keep things closed with the Tuberau, didn't work. Tried to keep things closed with the Azami, didn't really work. One thing you didn't really catch, I think, from our main POV was how quickly Spoit had to sprint up those Raptor stairs to get into that position of garage to get the opening pick onto Souls. He was outside the building, really, when Rexon was starting to poke with those air jabs. So credit to Spoit for getting in so fast, and then I think Rexon working with him, Raptor's position, MVP around 1.
to take this match a bit more seriously if you're FaZe Clan. Not that I think they didn't there. They actually look quite structured and quite sound. I mean, Shopify has now done in a single round what Black Dragons did twice in their matchup against FaZe. So the bar is in hell at this point.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just want to clear it. I mean, Shopify Rebellion are a bit of an enigma, if you look at it, right? They have all the tools to be a super team, and super team is often bandied about quite a lot. But when you've got a young prospect like Ambi, who has really come into his own and is among one of the best fraggers at this event, you've got Spoit, who won a major as a rookie himself, huge content creator. Oh my. Cyber and Ambi will do battle. Ambi actually winning that duel. There are very few that can stand up to Cyber, and I'm glad that Ambi's the one to do it, as it just further proves my point. And then you've got, you know, Rexon and Surf there to round it out, as they are both terrific players in their own right.
Yeah.
And yet, for whatever reason, success for this team seems to elude them more than it really should. FaZe Clan is going to be a formidable opponent. I don't think anybody is doubting that FaZe Clan is the better team on paper, but that doesn't always translate to the match.
It's hard not to be the better team on paper when you're the world champs, right? It would take some pretty phenomenal feats. So, yeah, obviously SR, big task ahead of them, but they've looked great so far. Winning round one, opening pick for Ambi, almost dies in return. He's taken a ton of damage north side of the map. It's that same window that he's been battling on and does fall up against Handy, playing over towards the lobby side of the map. Very solo position from Ambi, as the rest of his team are already in the sight.
Yeah, it's a quick one. Canadian leading the charge on in, waiting for the all clear. Vidiking waits very patiently. They must know that this is happening. Surf and Canadian literally on top of each other, waiting for someone to move on the side of FaZe Clan. Nobody will. They are using Selma charges on the inside of the reinforcement to get to the outside of the map. That is something that is so seldom seen. And it is quite enjoyable. Canadian trying to take up space. His feet get shot away at by Vidiking. And now return to the bomb site by KDS will work. These MP7s doing some great damage. Handy on the board as well. And Rexon's all on his lonesome, tearing strips through the Mozzie, but can't quite complete the job. FaZe gave the bomb site to Shopify Rebellion, and it turned out to be a bit of a ruse.
Yep.
FaZe bounce back, and it's a tie game.
Yeah, a nice little triple kill from that was Handy in the midst of that. Don't believe everything you read. Did a great job just trading his teammates inside the site, was doing really good work after the plant went down. This is the one thing with FaZe Clan. They're never going to panic. They're not going to lose their cool in a situation like that. I think they did know the plant was going down. It's not like they snuck it in there. It's a blitz coming down cargo stairs and getting down behind pillar. That's something quite loud that was happening. They had the information that was going down, but recognized that most of their players were on the top floor, and they're not going to be able to stop that plant, of course, from behind the pillar position. So let's take our time. Let's get back down into sight and then win in that post plant. No need to worry about it. Great cautious play coming through from FaZe Clan, and in particular Handy.
Now, one thing that we'll be referencing throughout the course of this match is how Nighthaven Labs has steadily drifted towards being more attacker-favored than before. There was a period of time where Nighthaven Labs was almost perfectly balanced through a couple live events, Jesse. 50-50 across the win rate of attackers and defenders, of course broken down by the particular bomb sites. We have, for the first time in maybe even ever in our esport, we have a whole whack of maps that are actually quite attacker-sided through this SI. Lair, attacker-sided. Six plays. Border, attacker-sided. Bank, attacker-sided. It's quite crazy. Nighthaven Labs started out really strong for the defenders, but has steadily regressed to the point where the only defender-sided bomb site is on the top floor. Every other site skews towards the attackers. That is quite unique.
There was a great stat on the desk about how, there was multiple stats on the desk about how FaZe Clan are basically winning in every category. Overall round win percentage, attacking win percentage, recovery percentage, objective percentage. FaZe Clan have really done a great job in general in this game. And Ann asked me if I had any stats to maybe give some hope to Shopify Rebellion, and I still don't. But what I do have is a sample size. FaZe have played one game so far today at this tournament before right now. And even for these map stats, Parker, we're only on day 3. I wouldn't worry so much about the numbers that you're hearing. What I would be more worried about is what I'm seeing in the server, and so far, that is SR off to a fiery start.
I don't know if you saw the player cam reaction of Rexon, but he literally shook his head and said, "What's that guy doing?" Because why is a Malusi sitting in an exposed position on IT wall when you know that there's going to be a Maverick available? that wall's going to get opened up. You're not actively defending it. There's no denial present on the side of FaZe. I have to wonder what Handy was thinking.
I think he's thinking, I got a 3K last round. These guys stink. Let me just style on them, Parker. But it's not Black Dragons you're up against this time around, FaZe.
Not a bad thought.
No, not a bad thought. And for Handy, that's often a correct thought. But SR being a bit more of a difficult opponent, they've got another player dead to rights on a drone. They've spotted Vidaking top floor. They push him over. I believe that was him that they hit with the air jab. Isn't alone, of course. They've got some players up there. I believe it's Souls playing top floor, so they do need to be careful with it, but also the mid floor looking enticing.
And Canadian going for another quick defuse. It did not work out so well in the previous round. He falls off of the case and will attempt it again. Rexon eliminating Souls. The smoke of Vidaking throwing some gas out. Canadian punished for it. Cyber out of nowhere finds two, and the case is now surrendered inside of the Lion's Den. This might be tough for Shopify Rebellion to recover from, but you've got three incredible guns still upright, and Rexon's going to find his third kill of the round with just two remaining. We're on Ace Watch.
Yeah, already 35 seconds left in this round. Vidaking and KDS need to hold things down with a low man count situation. The defuse kit still just outside of storage window, so they can jump in and go for the plants, but it's pretty obvious what they want to do.
Rexon's still holding this spot from above, but he's out-dueled by KDS. The Scorpions just tearing through no matter who finds themselves on the opposite side of them. Surf, last man standing, diffuser gets planted, and would you look at that? FaZe for the second round in a row sweeps through the moment the objective goes down and is perfect in the post plant. FaZe starting to fire up again. It is still a defender-sided map, even if it is more favorable territory to the attackers.
Yeah.
And with it being Shopify Rebellion's map, Jesse, you know they're going to do well, but FaZe should have the upper hand for this first half.
I'm very intrigued by the game plan being brought up by SR through these first three rounds. It's obvious they want to go for these fast plants. They don't care about how much map control they have. They want to get in, get the diffuser on the ground. I think after just seeing it one time in round two, FaZe did a great job of adapting. They came a little bit closer. They forced Canadian off the plants that first time. Cyber pushes up and gets that kill. And then even though they get the plant down in rounds 2 and 3, FaZe are in a far better position in terms of where their players are on the map to win in that post-plant spot. I would be surprised if that was something that SR decided we want to do this ahead of time before they... He almost headshot Surf.
It was so close to hitting him. Oh my goodness.
I'm changing back.
That was probably part of the game plan SR had coming into this. My big question is, it has failed dramatically twice in a row now. Do we rein that in? Do we stop going for these fast plants? Do we play a little bit more of the round, go for a little bit more map control before we plant? That would be my guess. We'll have to see what SR want to do, though, in this second quarter.
Not really a concerning sign yet for either of these teams. And I mean, you just got to make it, I think, to the halfway point. There have been good looks from the Rebellion on both rounds that they lost. FaZe Clan, outside of that first round, where they were playing a little cheeky, have looked pretty practiced and poised as well. This is a historic and infamous map for FaZe Clan, as this is where the tides turned on their quite eventful SI Grand Final against that W7M team that now plays under the Furia banner. I mentioned that Shopify Rebellion has a day off tomorrow, and they do. They will not be in action. Black Dragons was the team from this group that did not play. FaZe Clan will play their fellow countrymen of Brazilians, but from a different reason, or different region, as D plus Kia is a Brazilian set of players, but technically an APAC org.
Yeah.
And it's D plus Kia that actually sits on the top of the group right now, which is a little bit surprising when you've got these juggernauts. FaZe will play D plus Kia tomorrow. Black Dragons will play G2. And then on the very final day, G2 and FaZe will do battle, while Black Dragons and Shopify Rebellion square off against each other. D plus Kia are in a pretty good spot, so even if they do have the final day off, their destiny will be out of their hands. But if they can topple FaZe tomorrow, which seems like quite the task, they'd be in great shape for their final day, which they don't play.
Round 4, a completely different defensive setup for FaZe Clan, which includes Cyber on the Tachanka for the first time in, I would guess, ever? Maybe not, but I've certainly never seen him bring out this operator. The ridiculous player that he is, the 27-year-old, is almost always on entry fragging and far roaming roles, but with a strong setup, he can be a plant denial player as well. Got him set up deep behind a deployable shield inside of the B bomb site, while SR have also changed up their site a little bit. Not going to be bringing in that Ying Capitao combo that they had previously. Now we've got Canadian on the Blackbeard, who really wants to be the focal point of this push. I think it might lead to them going a little bit closer towards Connector. Spoit's already inside of Raptors, though, so maybe they do just want to go a similar style to what they did before.
And nowhere near the same extensive setup here. So fall back, and this is one thing that FaZe have actually excelled in over the last couple of rounds, which is inviting the Rebellion into the bomb site and then beating the stuffing out of them on the way out. So if you can just seed all this ground, if you realize that roaming isn't really helping you and that there's a better strategy to be had here, forfeit this part of the map, it can work out. Vidiking will start the killing with a minute left in the round. Ambi dies, Cyber is traded out, Spoit and Surf on the board. The King will find his second kill. The Surf is waiting with Diffuser in hand inside of IT, waiting for the all clear to walk it on it.
Yeah, now we've got 2 players IT. Spoit, the lone man, not with his team. He's going to be going over towards Aqua. He needs to be able to get a pick, but he's in a 1v1 with Handy lined up, and Handy doesn't miss these often.
Who on FaZe does? That's the real question.
Good
here.
question.
It's a tough spot for Spoit. Handy making some noise, an overture for him, but he gets called back to the bomb site, and there we go. Spoit almost got the Nitro Cell hucked out. Vidiking finds a third, and Surf is still poised, not far removed from his position. KDS, who was largely invisible that round, finds the final frag. And just like that, FaZe Clan have stitched together 3 consecutive rounds. Defending on this map, yeah, that's not terrible, but if I'm the Rebellion, maybe I'm starting to get a little worried.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was a really well-played round by FaZe. That is a tough bomb site to attack, so maybe it's not the end of the world for SR. A lot of credit's got to go to Vidiking, maybe the best IGL in all of South America. He had to get quite aggressive to get those kills. He actually pushed up out of the bomb site into Connector to be able to get the opening pick in that round, start the killing off, as you said, and then swung deeper into Electrical to kill Canadian from jungle, from Connector. So had a lot of these like really tough angles that he had to fight, managed to walk away with the win there, protecting Cyber, playing on that Tachanka. Did go down to the IT players eventually, but really good stuff coming out from Vidiking. Vidiking 4-0 in his career up against Canadian, has never lost to what is almost certainly the best captain of all time to come out of NA.
10 seconds to go.
I know that they played a best of 3
5
that went the
seconds
distance. Their second matchup against D plus Kia wasn't really that long of an affair. It was 7-4, 7-1.
Yeah.
And yet still heading into this match, Ambi and Surf are both sitting at 40 kills apiece. Through just 2 best of 3s. That is quite the effort. Canadian sits at the bottom of the team, which is no surprise. That's how his role plays. But even he's only a -6. He fragged very well against G2, if you recall. He almost top fragged, I think it was the second map against G2. Spoit is not that far ahead of Canadian. That is probably the bigger issue here. I know that people are used to Spoit being this incredible killer of everybody, especially if he watches YouTube content or his streams.
For sure.
But that's not the role he plays on this team. Spoit is not usually the one required to get kills. That's Surf, Ambi, and Rexon's task. So temper your expectations.
Yeah, I mean, he does play in that entry duo alongside Ambi, obviously. He is often one of the first players into the building, but you're right, hasn't maybe had the same impact that we've seen from him, even on former teams. You talk about Spoit on Rogue, absolutely star fragger, star guy that you're going to see getting all of the kills. Actually hasn't gone positive at a Six Invitational since his first SI in 2023, so definitely plays a bit more of a passive role when he has to, can sit back and let his teammates frag out. Doesn't mean he's washed, chat. It just means that he's playing maybe a different position sometimes. Right now, the roam game is strong from FaZe Clan. Handy on the top floor. We're watching Souls in the mid floor. Cyber's not too far away either. There's a lot of players from FaZe still out and about on the map, and Shopify haven't really cared to clear out those players. The Rebellion have taken their time. They've gotten some space over towards Cafeteria, but not so much that they can comfortably go for a plant unless they're going right down XO and trying to get something very cheeky tucked in on maybe the assembly door.
Let's have a look.
There goes the death mark. In hopes of finding Vidiking, and Canadian will be off to the races again. I like the tempo that is being set. Whoa, my goodness. How did Handy miss that engagement? They walked right into each other. FaZe Clan not looking in the direction that the Rebellion are coming from. They barged into the bomb site. They've surrendered the diffuser. It needs to be retrieved as Spoit gets gunned down. KDS takes quite a beating. 45 seconds left, and it's time for a reset from the Rebellion after they were hoping for an early push again, and I was just about to praise SR for how quick they've been to get to the bomb site. The killing will continue, this time Canadian taken out by KDS. Soul still searching for his very first kill as diffuser gets planted by Surf. Explosion goes off. They have a read on it, Jesse, and they'll watch it from above. A 3v3 is now the timer shortened by the case being planted. Rexon outdueled by Cyber. Ambi takes care of KDS. Hatch opened up. An easier drop into the bomb site. FaZe will take advantage of that. The Rebellion just catching FaZe Clan looking the wrong way time and time again. Soul's now last alive, in the thick of it, targeted by the death mark. To add insult to injury, nobody enjoys being in this particular situation. He knows where Ambi is. They know where he is. He's but a couple seconds for Souls to get on this kit. Nope, a nice shot onto Ambi, but at best, a Pyrrhic victory for Souls as the timer will give it to the Rebellion. And that's 2 rounds for the North Americans with 1 more round in this first half.
Shopify Rebellion really allergic to clearing the map on Night Haven Labs. Clearly, they've done some prep and have decided it's going to be too difficult to try to clear these FaZe Clan roamers out. So once again, they go pretty direct to site, Parker. Thought maybe they would try to take it through cafeteria, down those exo stairs, just straight in through the breach, right? Got pretty deep with it. Vidiking caught sleeping a little bit, goes down to Canadian midway through this round. That's the replay you're watching right here. Vidiking very concerned with the exo portion of the map. We saw Andy pushing in that direction, but in the end, the fuse kit just came straight into the bomb site. Canadian eventually does go down, but Surf is the one with the defuse kit, so there's no problem planting it on pillar. They can avoid the Solus from up above because they plant in that spot behind the pillar where you can't quite get it. And in the end, Shopify Rebellion keep us within 1.
I'm about to say something that is going to sound absurd.
Say it.
FaZe Clan have played a single best of 3 so
10
far.
seconds remaining.
If FaZe Clan wins this match, doesn't matter the
5 seconds
circumstances,
remaining.
as long as FaZe wins the match. Can be a 2-1 nail biter, 15-15, doesn't matter.
Use a bomb.
FaZe and D+ are locked for Phase 2.
Wow.
So FaZe Clan bullied Black Dragons yesterday. They come in, maybe they have a quick 2-0 against the Rebellion. Congratulations, you're going on to Phase 2. That would leave Black Dragons, G2, and SR fighting for the final 2 spots. Only one team goes home.
Final 3 spots.
Sorry, final 3 spots.
But yes, only one team goes home. There's 5 teams in the group.
Well, no, final 2 spots to qualify. 3 spots would remain. The last spot
because
could go
D+
home.
qualified.
D+ would qualify
Sorry,
as well.
I didn't listen to you when you spoke.
I would like to remind everybody that Jesse went to university for math,
Yeah.
and he also has ears. And he's also in the same production chat that I read this stuff from. And yet he chooses to sandbag me and say that he doesn't listen to me.
Shopify Rebellion obviously hoping to equalize at 3.
Enough of you.
FaZe Clan in just 5 rounds have doubled their amount of rounds lost here at the Six Invitational from 2 to 4. Aggressive fight between KDS and Spoit, but Spoit misses the head, only gets some body shot damage onto KDS, so that's not going to be a kill just yet for SR. Clearing this top floor should be the primary objective, but as long as they have IT control, that has historically been enough, and Spoit, he doesn't miss twice. Eventually gets KDS on the repeak.
Yeah. KDS is a big get. He's the top frag on the team and has survived deep into most of the rounds that he's lived in, so this is a late breaking player in those final few moments. Having to deal with the treachery of that Brava as Vidiking has to shoot his own Malusi Banshee. Well, not his, I guess technically it's Handy's, but it's his own team's. As his spot inside of IT is given away, and he's collapsed upon by Ambi. Now Souls is urged into action. Cyber on the board. FaZe Clan have been exceptional, Jesse, at getting 2 quick kills in reaction to equalize and set us often into a 2v2 or a 3v3 situation. But Canadians got other ideas, taking matters into his own hands. A kill and now close to planting the case down. Spoit dies at the hands of Handy, but still an advantage for Shopify Rebellion. Handy's been reduced to about half HP, but he's still fragging. Now it's Souls down below, surveying the damage that was done above. You know how hard it is to hop on this case and go for a defuse in this position. And they'll soon start to run out of time. About halfway point of the diffuser now. The Azami's swinging. A small missed opportunity for Rexon. Oh my goodness. They fall off. These post plants from FaZe Clan have been so damn good. And they win yet another 4-2 the first half for FaZe.
Oh, that's a brutal one to be losing as well, Parker. They had all the positionings. I was getting ready to say maybe FaZe Clan should have sent somebody above. You know, this is going to be a tough post plant, but they just win the vert battles. They kill the player that's outside on, not even on Repel, but outside the building. Man, that was really tough. I even wanted to give credit for Canadian because instead of just jumping in, immediately planting, he took the time to kill the site player.
You can still give credit.
He went and he killed Cyber, and he did his job. He got that Diffuse Kit on the ground, but the post plant just out of reach for Shopify Rebellion over and over again. They can plant, but they can't win the round.
Brutal stuff. And I mean, a lot of that is also structural. So in rounds 2 and 3, FaZe Clan deliberately played farther back. They deliberately opened up the bomb site, especially on that basement bomb site, right? The idea was to go for a retake. That was the whole strat. But 2 of these final rounds that we've seen, the 2 most recent ones, they were not designed to deal in a post plant. They were scrambles from FaZe to try to regain the footing that they had lost earlier in the round after a strong start for the Rebellion. So it's a situation where, honestly, you have to praise both teams, right? You have to praise the Rebellion for the way that they're able to take up map control, the way they're able to entry, and then you have to praise FaZe for the way that they retake. It's a situation where you can do everything right and still lose. It is possible, and it honestly seems like that was the case. Not that we're tripping over ourselves here to compliment Shopify Rebellion, but I don't think this scoreline is a proper representation of how close this match has been.
Yeah, I would put it like this. Shopify Rebellion are playing better in the early game. FaZe Clan are playing better in the late game, but in the end of the day, the team that wins the late game wins the round. So FaZe Clan are winning when it matters.
And you're spot on. 5 of the 6 rounds, first blood drawn by Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah, not surprising at all. I mean, if you watch this game, SR have been dominating, always with the man advantage, always with the first blood, but FaZe Clan ways to battle back, whether that's SR maybe not taking as much map control as they potentially could have, or miraculous clutches coming up in the post plans. FaZe Clan have been the better team, but Siege is a game of 2 halves, Parker, and now on the attack, things could start to change directions, as FaZe Clan will have to attack on this top floor. We always talk about it, one of the hardest sites to attack.
2 halves, but also 4 quarters, Jesse.
And yes.
One thing I was going to bring up, it's a little hard for us to track because unfortunately the drone counter is still broken. So if you look at the top left of your screen, it still shows that there's only 2 or 3 left at all times. That is not accurate, so do not rely on that.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a frustrating situation because I have to wonder if intel is hard to come by for Shopify Rebellion because they're losing a lot of drones after that initial burst. So if they're getting a lot of intel during the discovery phase, it's the mid-round where they suffer because they don't have drones to fall back on. That would then be a credit to FaZe Clan.
Well, it's not something they're going to have to worry about until overtime or map 2, because this is all defense now. I like this use of the Clash from Canadian. He's providing coverage to Rexon, who is trying to get a Nitro out that Mira window that's been popped in order to punish Cyber here on the Maverick. A lot of support roles for Cyber today, but unfortunately wasn't quite able to find the mark. That Nitro got wasted, and it looks like the wall has been made soft now, so they should be able to get into this bomb site. Right side, I believe, is openable. There we go with Andy's secondary shotgun. So that's job 1 done, but it's taken quite a bit of time. They were very afraid of Canadian there on the Clash. Based on positioning, it looks like the second angle of this push is going to come towards jungle. It's going to come towards electrical. Cyber is already inside of meeting to make that happen.
I'm glad that FaZe have maybe picked up the pace a little bit because I was a little worried with their speed and their ability to get in, but things working well for them. Everybody's still alive, and we have under a minute to go in the first round of the second half, or the first round of the third quarter, as you like to refer to them as. The teams will come to blows at some point over by electrical. Never mind. Ambi moves out of that position. Nades magnetic. They're following him. Spoit, just as he did in the first half, will get the first kill of the second half as well. Cyber trades it out immediately, but it's Rexon who dies. Ambi goes down. Now it's Spoit to die. And FaZe Clan are saying, we don't really care what the stats say about this map. We're going to clobber you. We'll find you. Attackers, defenders, doesn't matter at all. An immediate execution by FaZe will give them a 5th round, and now I have to wonder if the Rebellion will call their timeout, because you are very quickly running out of runway to land this thing.
Felt like a must-win round. Will be Super's call if he wants one or not.
Maybe waiting. Yeah, maybe waiting to see what happens in the next round. But I mean, if you lose that round, you call a timeout with just 3 minutes to go.
It's a risky gamble for Super, but it's what he's chosen to go for, trusting in his team's ability to defend on these other bomb sites that are not top floor. That was just a really clean push from FaZe Clan, to be honest with you. Handy gets that trade onto Spoit, top floor inside of Rafters. That was with the defuse kit, by the way, so if Handy loses that second gunfight to Spoit, that whole thing could go differently. Surf also, he was playing on that SAS operator. He had the shotgun on the smoke, wasn't choosing to play close on the electrical door. Often you'll find a shotgun player right there because it's so difficult to get into sight when there's a shotgun close on the electrical doorway. Surf ended up being, I believe, last alive in that round. He was over towards the west, wasn't quite able to get there fast enough to help out his team. Playing the long angle instead, stopping any flanks that were to come, but being rolled over from the east were Shopify Rebellion. So FaZe Clan ever closer now. A gap of 3 is the best they've had all day.
The desk told the story about the struggle against Brazilian teams, and even though they play in APAC, D plus Kia is ostensibly a Brazilian team. The struggles will continue, though. I will say FaZe is a bit of an aberration here. They are not just a Brazilian team, they are a behemoth. It doesn't matter what region they're from.
Yeah.
They're incredibly good. You could literally be perfect against Brazilian teams, never having played FaZe Clan, and I still would suspect you'd lose. That's just how it works.
Yeah, FaZe Clan are absolutely ridiculous. And if you count this SR team as the same as a Sonics team, they haven't beaten this FaZe Clan squad in a best of 3 since DreamHack Montreal 2019. A game I casted with Flynn, which should tell you everything you need to know about how
good was the game? We know the casting was bad, but how good was the game?
All right.
A brief push now by the Ying, enabled by the first kill of Cyber. Second kill from Cyber up top, and the defuse kit was getting planted, does get planted. Vidiking and Cyber now existing on borrowed time. What remains of Vidiking is gone. Cyber will join him. That's 10 seconds off the defuse kit, though. The job becomes ever harder for the Rebellion. Time continuing to run away. Souls, Handy, and KDS still alive. Death marks in pocket for Handy. He can use them at his leisure. That will make things even more challenging for Shopify Rebellion. KDS with one, Handy dies back to even numbers, 2v2. Surf hits the drive-by, and now it's KDS over top of the defuse kit. All he needs to do is buy another second. Surf is on it. Stop him in his tracks. Surf does not fake, and the Rebellion will hang on to the round. A confidence-inspiring finish. The gap will close, and FaZe will be denied match point.
Wow, that's a crazy one to go through. Shopify Rebellion disabling at the last possible moment. They used that clash shield as well, being placed by Canadian to give them a slightly better angle to hit that disable. Really good stuff. I thought Cyber had won it for them with that entry up onto the top floor. It felt like they had all the numbers in their basket. They had the plant very close on the breach, but honestly, it's a lot of the same problems that SR had in the midst of that push in the very late round. It's a great comparison because both teams tried to make fast plants in through the main breach of Assembly. Slightly different plant spots from the two, certainly different strategies, one with a glass and a fuse, the other with Shopify not quite the same. But in the end, the post plant was still better for the defenders, and Shopify Rebellion did a great job of holding back, winning some of those vert angles when they had to, winning some of those trades in the midst of the site when they had to, and doing a great job sticking on that diffuser when they eventually got down to it.
Opening picks still overwhelmingly favoring the Rebellion, too. There's 6-2 is the scoreline right now when it comes to opening duels. So FaZe Clan have picked up 5 rounds in which they have not drawn first blood. Now, I will say, FaZe Clan did strike first in the most previous round, so FaZe isn't winning all the rounds that they strike first either. Again, Jesse, you're spot on. The mid to late round, the late round in particular, has been the deciding factor of this map, and right now FaZe Clan just look more like a cohesive unit that can handle the pressure and everything else that is required to deal with the final 20-30 seconds of a round.
And honestly, it's something we saw when they played Black Dragons yesterday. They had an 89% recovery against BD, which is the highest of any team in the tournament, as it is their only game played. So we know how good FaZe Clan can be even without the opening pick. This is a team that is ridiculously good at getting advantages back when they lose them. Now, I thought most of that was probably because Black Dragons were not playing the greatest of Siege yesterday, but even against SR, who I think are playing a better game, FaZe Clan are finding success in that area, so that really speaks to just the quality of team that we are witnessing.
I mean, we saw this on this map 3 hours ago?
Yeah, we did.
In the Weibo game, where Weibo was just winning rounds even though it didn't look like they should, and they just have heroic efforts. Oh my goodness. He's not going to get another, is he? A nice nitro cell from Surf will net one, but there are more in tow. And Surf beheading Vidaking. Playing very selfishly inside a storage. There's a third to be had as he was watched on drone. That's the Thatcher of Souls, right? It sure looks like it based on, based on his silhouette. Have to get used to a different silhouette from Thatcher, by the way.
Bit of aggression at top. Aqua is handy. Just barely gets pulled back thanks to that Dread Mine from Fenrir. Little early damage into Rexon as well. They have to kind of come up with a new game plan, Parker. That diffuser is dropped in the sight.
I think
Does the Ponytail have a hitbox? I actually don't know.
I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
Were you playing the game when Blitz's earmuffs used to have a hitbox?
Yes. I think when they changed that, I would assume a zombie's Ponytail also would not have one.
I mean, realistically, if you were wearing like a big set of like earmuffs and a bullet hit it, it would probably disorient you, but maybe not damage you.
35 seconds, Parker. FaZe Clan's plan B has taken a long time to come to fruition. They've got to find some kind of a pick, but SR, they're giving him nothing.
Yeah, and I mean, SR's very patient here, Jesse. Giving them nothing, not moving, standing pat. They've got crossfires held. FaZe is utility starved at this point. Those EMPs that Souls have are really ineffective, but I mean, hey, you've got the DMR. You've got 2 DMRs. You can do some serious damage. With time running against you, I think it might be a little too late. Maybe not. There goes Rexon. 3v3, running out of time. Diffuser walked on in, dropped, and no way in the final 2 seconds they find anything. Half of the round, or half of the lobby still survives. 2 players on FaZe Clan, 3 players on Shopify Rebellion. And the lead has now fallen to just a single round. Shopify Rebellion putting together a pretty nice set of rounds here to almost draw even.
And I gotta say, SR are in a much better spot down 5-4 because they still have that tactical timeout. All credit in the world to Super for being very restrained with that tactical timeout. The team has brought it close even without it. And now they can still use it either here after this round or even into overtime, or if FaZe eventually do hit that match and map point. Really good play, of course, from Surf. We had to mention it. I'm going to say it. He definitely thought that his first beeper that he tossed out was his nitro cell. We've all done it playing on Sentry, okay? It's confusing which button is your first gadget and which button's the second. But in the end, the goo mine stalled him out enough so that C4 was there in time to get the kill. 2 massive kills coming out from Surf, and I thought he had a really nice tweet after yesterday's embarrassment. So the game against D+ was not the result we wanted, but it was the one we deserved. Now he's top fragging the lobby or top fragging the team for Shopify Rebellion. That's really coming in clutch.
So, because Shopify is a Toronto-based company and their headquarters are in Toronto, that, and I mean obviously Troy is from Toronto. Spoit has stayed in Toronto multiple times now. First when he was on M80, now when he's on Shopify Rebellion. The team has boot camped there a few times, and then of course there was the Spoit Contender Series as well a couple months ago that you and I both worked, and the whole team was there at the same time.
Yeah,
I didn't really know Surf all that well until the first time we met, the first time they boot camped there, and I can say this. There are a lot of good people who play this game. There are a lot of normal people, smart people, funny people, kind people, etc. I am consistently struck by just how nice of a guy and how aware of his life Surf is. If you ever get a chance to meet Surf in person, should Shopify Rebellion ever make the main stage of a live event, you are there.
Yeah.
I urge you to spend some time talking to him. I guarantee you will come away just as impressed as I was the first time I met him. He is genuinely a good being.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I really enjoyed hanging out with Surf and all of the SR guys, honestly, at that Spoit Contender Series that we got the pleasure to attend earlier this winter.
Yeah. The whole team is full of good beans, though. I mean, I don't have anything really bad to say about any of the 10 people in this lobby. Like, they're just all good. I mean, obviously, I say a lot of bad things about Canadians.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, is it funny that we say good bean, but we say bad egg? Why not good egg, bad bean?
And he's really hunting for something on this
Just
upside down.
reply to the things I say, I beg you.
I believe he's fishing for Spoit, who's still playing that top Raptors position, this time, of course, on the Ella, but not giving up anything. I think Spoit's played a very restrained game, a very cautious game, and I think it's paid off for him as they come back with this defense, and there it is, rewarded with a Nitro Cell from Canadian, getting the first blood on the Cyber.
Bad egg, good aim from Canadian. There you go. How about that? Nice Nitro Cell to blow things wide open. FaZe Clan obviously having good numbers across the board. Cyber has died 10 times, though. That gives me a little bit of concern. We mentioned this in our matchup yesterday when we talked about Cyber. He is a player that will literally go like 3-8, and then will suddenly, you blink, and he's 12-9, or he will start off 6-0 and just continue that hot streak. He had a good beginning to this game, but he's been brought back down to earth. But again, the thing that all of these great teams have in common, Jesse, is the fact that there's depth. And there is so much depth on FaZe Clan that if Cyber's having a bad day, you've got Souls, you've got KDS, you've got all these guys that can easily shoulder some of that weight. Handy's another name that gets used a lot, and down goes Ambi to equalize into a 4v4 with 44 seconds left.
Yeah, 4 Candelas, still 3 smokes, plus Capitao makes it 5. There's a lot of utility for FaZe Clan, and it's coming barreling in right now.
A bit of disorientation from those Fenrir F-Knots, trying to outdo themselves. There's some Guzmat mines as well that Handy is dealing with. Around the corner, oh my goodness, he's breakdancing on him, and Handy styles on Spoit. Soul's getting the diffuser to the halfway point, but he has to bail off and will now attempt it yet again. But 2 for the price of 1 for Surf, and Rexon sends us to a tie game.
Surf has really earned his keep these last couple of rounds. The Yuto play is phenomenal. He's known for his clutches in North America. He's known for his breakneck play just at the end of rounds when he can really clutch up. Impressive stuff. We might be getting attack timeout here.
Sure looks like it.
É o seguinte, a gente tá percebendo que esse ataque é um pouco mais lento e trabalhando com mais molecão, tá ficando bem melhor, tá ligado? Então vamos no bombo do tanque agora. Pode ser cozinha, se for cozinha a gente só faz nossa play.
Mas eu domina com montanha?
Mas, do bombo do tanque. Não, vamos oferecer montanha, porque os caras estão ficando pressionados com esses bonecos tipo de posição e tal. Assim, ficou muito recuadinho no cruzado e o montanha não pode não ser muito bom.
No bombo do barril acho que a gente faz domínio com montanha, velho.
Então, tipo, no do tanque, vamos fazer aquela play de deslocar o. Deslocar e
tá.
cobrar o tanque,
luz.
tá ligado?
Tá.
No bombo do barril, vamos trabalhar mais pelo verde e obras, fechou?
Tá, no bombo do barril, vamos fazer o full domínio padrão raiz, velho.
Isso,
tipo
exato.
montanha. A gente faz o full domínio abrindo verde ali, os caras vão que vá. O cara vai querer descer pra fazer C4.
O full domínio lentinho ali tá tranquilo. Bora.
I don't want to say that they're in free fall, but things are not looking very good for FaZe Clan at the moment. And again, you can go back to a couple of those rounds in the first half and make a pretty credible argument that Shopify Rebellion were strategically the more sound team and could potentially argue that they should have a lead in this series. So, I mean, the scoreboard obviously doesn't reflect that, but it is abundantly clear that there's a reason why the Rebellion picked this map. They have leveled up their gameplay with the side swap coming in, and FaZe Clan are shook. Now, at the same time, the Rebellion get to talk to Super, and they still maintain their own timeout. So should this round go for FaZe Clan, what do you think the odds are that we see the Rebellion slap their own timeout button to try to prevent a 7-5 scoreline?
I think the odds are pretty good, Parker, but we've also got a very interesting decision, and this was likely just called by Super, although we didn't get to hear it. Shopify Rebellion have just won a full site rotation back-to-back-to-back. They won basement, storage, and then top floor. Instead of going back to that site rotation, instead of going back down to the basements, they've mixed things up. If FaZe Clan were discussing specific things about this next 11th and 12th round, that kind of has to go out the window, because you're going to a bomb site you won't have been expecting. Now, Kitchen Cafeteria kind of stinks as a site. It doesn't have a great win rate, at least historically. I'm not sure about this event. But man, if FaZe Clan have been preparing a very specific strat in that attack timeout, this would be a really good way to throw them off.
Undeniably so. Surf now breaking 10 kills, double digits for him, trailing just Handy in this lobby. Surf is a very deceptive player. He's very sneaky. Like he'll get 8 kills, and we barely say his name. And we'll be talking about Ambi, we'll be talking about Rexon, we'll be talking about Cyber, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, hold on a second. When did Surf get 8 kills? I feel like Souls is kind of the same way, and oftentimes KDS is in that same boat. Rexon, the star of the show, to start off with, manages to go even on kill count now with his 8th kill. getting rid of Vidaking. Vidaking died early a bit too many times in the matchup against Black Dragons yesterday. He's played far more sheltered today here on Nighthaven Labs.
Wow, Stolz is in. He's trying to find the clutch, the hammer.
Oh, no!
And with the air jab, he gets shot from below instead. They eventually clear out the clash, but it costs them a couple of bodies, and it's a 3v3.
You best know if he'd hit him with the hammer, I had a good bonk lined up for that, but unfortunately, that will not come to pass. 3v3 with half the round still to go. The loser will be staring down match point. The winner will be 1 round away from putting this map into their win column.
Changing bags.
A lot of damage has been done to both Rexen and Cyber, so both of these players, wounded, but still with a gun in hand, maybe might play a bit less aggressively if they're concerned about gambling their life.
Yeah, how do you play these last 70 seconds if you're FaZe Clan? You've got the majority, all of your players really lobby side. You've got 2 more Capitao smokes plus a firebolt to try to burn out Rexen, and they'll do a great job with that. Missed with the first fire, didn't aim high enough. That time, though, they hit their mark, and with a man advantage, they can choose. Do we go kills? Do we go plant?
Player who's been really quiet so far this map, Spoit, was being tracked by the death mark of Deimos. Handy still has 1 more in pocket that's currently regenerating. With 40 seconds left, that's some good timing here. Black Eye cams will persist for Spoit. They'll be watched by the rest of his team. Surf has the pulse sensor, the cardiac sensor. If need be, he can actively call. But at this point, I think you need to have a gun in hand. Spoit hit the read, but Handy just has the better reflex. Surf fighting for his life now, tucked inside of the vending machine. What will pop out? Handy now getting Diffuser down with all 12 kills on Gamble. Cyber not far removed. Nitro cell goes. Not enough to shake Handy off of this spot. Surf will now rotate and stare at the other portion of Kitchen. Being watched by the Deimos, and Handy is just so good. My God. Clinical from FaZe Clan to move to map point.
3 clutches might have been asking a bit too much from Surf, and we'll see if that will prompt a tack timeout from Shopify Rebellion, or if they do opt to save it for overtime. I would bet the tack timeout is the call. It was a miraculous play coming out there from Handy, who got a good couple of kills.
I wanted this. I wanted it so.
I know, he came close with it, but unfortunately the zaps just slowed him a little bit too much. Handy really the star of the show in that round. After all the chaos, he uses the death mark to get in, wins the fight against Spoit. A really tough fight to come through there. Plants the diffuser and then also kills Surf to get up to 13 kills. Yesterday, he was 16-9 across 2 different maps versus Black Dragons. One of the top 10 players in this event coming into today, and of course, the reigning Six Invitational MVP. He's a deadly player to go against. Many players across the world fear him, and now with 13 kills, Shopify will have to find a way around him if they want to make overtime.
The craziest thing is that, again, talking about depth, the 2 highest rated players in the entire event. Admittedly, again, small sample size, FaZe Clan just played a single best of 3 yesterday, and I mean, they slaughtered Black Dragons. But Souls and Cyber were the 2 highest rated players, and they are underwater in terms of numbers. Again, it really just does go back to how good this FaZe Clan team is. We have seen very few reasons to doubt them. Even in Munich, they made a heroic run towards the finals. They didn't make it the whole way, but they got about as close as you can get. And they looked mighty damn good on the way there. They have picked up from where they left off, if not outright leveled up, because from Black Dragons now here to Shopify Rebellion's map, FaZe Clan are showing just how formidable they can be.
So SR had a choice. They could go basement or they could go storage. FaZe weren't sure which one they would go. It ends up being the mid-floor site. Storage and control to end out regulation. Shopify Rebellion, of course, playing with a heavy 2-man roam up in the top 4, while Ambi, Surf, and Rexen still maintain that main floor position. FaZe Clan certainly have a lot of information on this meeting side. They've got a lot of bodies over on that meeting side as well. I don't believe that they have done any work on the IT breach. There is still just a mirror window in that, but the top floor clear is underway.
Stay close to me.
And they're hoping to get some space with it. Now already Vidaking on the electrical door.
I feel like we don't really talk about how good Vidaking can be on that shield. FaZe Clan doesn't exactly use shields as often as some of the other teams, but Vidaking has quite a history as being a good shield player.
Oh yeah. I think before shields got cool, Vidaking was the best shield player in the world. I think he's the best traditional shield player. And then shields got buffed, everybody started playing shields, you could debate.
Canadian with the crossfire, he wasn't the only one involved in that action. KDS goes down, and again, the beginning of action is not the problem for the Shopify Rebellion squad. They have done really well in these opening duels, but now things get tricky. The moment that they get a single kill, that's when the worrying signs for the Rebellion come in. They've put up a great effort, and again, those first couple rounds, there are some things that could very easily make you say this should have been a 7-5 for the Rebellion, but that's not the case. Let's see how they do for the next minute.
Top floor's been conceded by SR. FaZe have full second floor control, but watch out for Surf. He is in the basement with the Nitro Cell, and there are Valkyrie cameras. He has won multiple rounds this series with a last-second Nitro to deny a plant. He's looking to do that again in this round.
Everybody's still alive and at full HP on the side of the Rebellion. Spoit, to his credit, getting some high impact kills, even if he is towards the bottom of the standings. Ambi and Spoit now shrugging off some damage here as out go the Bees. This is just an area denial as FaZe are desperate for information and have very little time to make it into the win column. I don't think it's going to happen. Spoit going huge, Jesse. Which member of the 5 remaining Rebellion players will get it? It's Spoit! A 4K for Spoit as the round is won flawlessly. And we're going to overtime.
Willie with 4 gets back on the board statistically. A great round from him. They really stalled out FaZe Clan in that one, Parker. Top floor, they just tried to make that impact happen. They tried to clear through, but after losing one body, SR fell back. They concede that space. They're happy to play that close-range gunfight game with Spoit on that Scorpion. They had the Nitro ready in case Spoit didn't step up and get those 4 frags, but wasn't needed. Excellent performance coming through from Spoit, who himself is still looking for his first Six Invitational win.
So well played, and I mean, we're looking at a lot of close quarters engagements on these maps. I'm sure you've noticed more shotguns being run, more Scorpions being run. Now, granted, if you are not a pro player, the Scorpion might seem like the type of weapon that beyond a couple feet, forget about hitting your shots. We even saw Cyber struggle with it yesterday, if you recall. I believe it was Chalet that we watched that game of. But if you're playing close quarters, that thing shreds.
Yeah.
Ella is a close quarters specialist as an operator. Her gadget great for close quarters, for roaming, or for sitting on site. Don't forget the Ella shotgun is still mighty good as well, but the Scorpion got a steady amount of buffs and is now in a position where it is simply a better gun than the shotgun 9 times out of 10. And the way Spoit played it was great. Tucked himself into the corner, waited for them to come to him, and then the moment that FaZe panicked because there was only 15 seconds left, he punished them perfectly. So, great read, and now Spoit has vaulted up the standings on the side of the Rebellion. 2 rounds, potentially 3 now for OT, as Shopify Rebellion will go on to the better statistical side of their map, defending at least 1 time, depending on how this in the next round goes.
Yeah, Shopify Rebellion, they'll go to the top floor. This was locked in the last 2 rounds, so they couldn't come back here, but now it's opened once again. It's the exact same operator lineup from SR. They're going to run this one back. They thought it worked well enough previously, even if it did rely on Surf flanking down Aqua Stairs and eventually getting a last-minute Nitro Cell. That was a round win. They're hoping to get some kind of replication there. For FaZe Clan, the focus is instead going to be Raptor's side. Previously, they went over towards Connector, they went over towards Electrical. This time with Vidiking starting to open up things bottom Rafters, it's going to put a lot more early pressure onto Spoit. Could put some early pressure onto Surf as well, playing in that Aqua hallway position. So that seems to be the direction change from FaZe Clan, and hopefully for them, what can turn the tides to make this a more successful round.
Sounding like a bit of a broken record here, Jesse, but Shopify Rebellion still leading the way on opening kills. 10 of 12 opening kills for the Rebellion. They've been much better at converting these rounds to their credit, but they are riding the side that makes it a little bit easier. Halfway point of the round, and very minimal damage has been done across the board. KDS and Vidiking may be losing about 10-20 HP apiece, though Vidiking has just taken quite the beating. Flailing outside of the breach. That's KDS. Mag dumping in, but not finding anything. Oh my goodness, Canadian tucked into the corner. That was a similar position that we saw earlier. Why were you there? Rexton will equalize, taking down Cyber with a Nitro Cell. The assault now spread out over on Rafters, through Electrical. Focus on IT is mostly gone now as KDS has rotated to Rafters to link up with Vidic.
Yeah, the IT breach is a little ugly, but they got it done. They can jump in if they need to. That Rafters fully under their control, but Spoit is still close, playing with that Scorpion of Ella. Rexton not far away either. That's the person at the end of that barrel. And KDS
What a shot, removing Rexon and his head from the server. Surf trades it right back. So whether they're surrendering these opening picks or not, they are keeping it so close. A small advantage now for the Rebellion as the last two players from FaZe are close enough by. Spoit gets flushed out by KDS. Excellent use of the gadget. KDS now on ace watch as he's picked up 3 kills with still 2 remaining. They've pushed Surf over towards Aqua. A down now as they pivot towards Ambi's position in electrical. Walking his way towards the defuse plant in the hands of KDS. Souls gets the final 2, and FaZe move back to match point.
And what an end round from Souls and KDS. Perfectly pushed through that positions, in through rafters together. They play it by isolating those defenders, managing to find those last couple players. Really tight round. Likely an opportunity, maybe the last opportunity for Super to call that tack timeout. He's held it all this time. But as far as we're seeing, it doesn't look like one will be called. So Parker, this is going to be round 14. Map point for FaZe Clan to win SR's pick. And still attack timeout remains in pocket.
I know that this will probably be a heated discussion on social media should the Rebellion go on to lose this map.
Okay.
Or this round in particular, and then with it the map.
Yeah.
But I have spoken to coaches before when it is a situation like this, and I have asked, why didn't you call your timeout? And they usually say the same thing. 1, our problems are pretty obvious. 2, I can hear the team working through it. There's really nothing I need to say. And 3, if I call the timeout, it lets my opponents talk as well. The last thing I want to do is have them potentially assess and fix mistakes that we think we can exploit. So it is entirely possible that Super said all he needed to in FaZe's timeout a few rounds ago and trust the team to get the job done in the server without the aid of a timeout. So don't come for his head on social media. There is some method to the madness.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just really confident that they're going to win this round and then he'll call it at the end of this round. Who knows? But again, we'd have to ask him in the postgame.
Maybe Super is a huge FaZe Clan fan and wants them to win this game.
I have often wondered if he's a double agent. Super, imagine they lose this game and Super rips off his jumper and there's a FaZe Clan jersey underneath it.
We're the WWE now, okay? We're getting crazy.
It was me all along, Austin. I could see that.
Back to the top floor we go, as we expect. FaZe Clan trying to play the best site on this map. They were pretty successful with it back on their own half, of course. They played this at the very start and lost it, but then were able to win it in rounds 4. Well, just round 4, I should say. Won it in round 7 on the attacking side as well, of course. Good heart breaching to start things off. Be careful of Cyber. Actually has pushed down the lobby stairs and is likely going to be playing from this position. Note to Chonka from him in overtime. Going back to his old-fashioned shenanigans where he likes to play aggressive, he likes to play a little bit sneaky. Could walk back up those lobby stairs if it ends up being a commitment to this connector side push. Can also rotate over to the Aqua stairs if he's needed in that direction, or even bottom rafters if he really wants.
Ambi has gone quiet for Shopify Rebellion. That is a little bit concerning on my end, especially with how good he was in the first half. He was taking engagements with no fear whatsoever. And I mean, if Ambi is fearless and is engaging against FaZe Clan and beating them, that's your secret weapon right there. You know that Ambi as a player is fearless. It's all about how Troy and the rest of the team want him to be deployed. Nobody from the Rebellion seems very keen on getting into the building just yet. Spoit and Rexon are in, but they haven't really taken a lot of map control with a minute to go. And they do need to worry about droning a second time. You mentioned Cyber on the roam.
Yeah.
Take a look at where he is.
Yeah, he comes back. He's gotten bored. He's returning back to the site. There's nobody pushing this direction, Parker. It's an Aqua side push. Zambi opens us up.
And that's what you might need. But again, the opening pick has not really been the problem for this Rebellion team. So what do they do with the lead that they have? They've got plenty of utility. Selman, pocket, exothermic charge, Candela, smokes, flashbangs, another set of smokes. A lot of tools here for the Rebellion to crack open this site.
Candela's coming in, as you say, Parker. It could be an early kill from Canadian, but he's got to be so careful and drops the defuse kit instead.
He had one close by. He knew the right read, but KDS had the long-range engagement. Souls and Vidaking go into the ground at the hands of Ambi and Rexon, and now Cyber hits the flank through Aqua, walking his way up. Can he catch them off guard? Ambi is waiting for it. 3 kills for the youngster, who's now planting the diffuser. What can't he do? KDS trapped inside of the site, shrugging off damage, dragging Spoit down with him, but a 4K from Ambi sends us to a 15th and final round.
You were just asking for him to step back up, weren't you, Parker?
I was.
Ambizi does it when it's needed. He steps up and has a massive round to force that 15th and final round here on Shopify Rebellion's map pick. Puts the pieces together, and I really don't think FaZe expected that push to come exactly in the way that it did. There was a lot of pressure early over towards Connector. We saw Cyber unsure of where he would go.
You guys hear me? Yeah. Think about what they did the last round they attacked us. Remember what I said? When they win rounds, they typically want to repeat it. They brought the Monty. I think we should run the Clash. I think we should run the Clash just to fuck with the Monty. Will, I don't know if you're getting the value out of Ella because we're backing up. What I'm saying is we run Goyo. No, listen, we bring Goyo, put Goyos on the door, board up the mud door and put a Goyo on the door and then put one under window and just fucking delay Raptor forever because they're already slow on the wall.
The rotate on the middle of the wall.
Yeah.
I go to Chanka and I can play close left on the Raptor door. Just keep firing the stairs for the Monty walking up.
I'm gonna go Flash. Listen to me. Focus on the delay. Bring the Goyos. Just spam them apart. We can put one like E-Box door. They're gonna split con side every time, so don't leave that. It's gonna be a gap if you leave it, okay?
Okay, heard that.
Let's go. Come on.
A lot of cooks in the kitchen there, Jesse.
A lot of the cooks, but in the end, the coach has the final say. Super demands what he demands, and for this top floor defense, he's gonna get it. The Clash, the Goyo, very worried about a Monty walking up these Raptor stairs. That's indeed what Vidaking likes to do on this site.
And if Super says it, Jesse,
it must be true.
It must be true. So we speculated if they would use it this time around. Yes, they did. While we get the perspective of Super, FaZe Clan is also talking.
Of course.
So both teams get to take this time out in case you're unfamiliar with how it works. I like the idea, but yeah, some chaos in those comms. And I do need to ask the question. If they're taking timeouts like that, what is everyday shot calling sounding like? Because we have the player cams on the bottom of the screen. There is a lot of talking on the side of the Rebellion. Rexon is often talking, Surf is often talking, Canadian, of course, is talking quite a bit. Could there be too much?
Potentially, Parker, but the good news is, even if there was some debate on how to counter the Monty, there is no Monty to counter. Vidaking has swapped over to the Ying, which will completely change what this push wants to look like for FaZe Clan. They are bringing a new look. It's not the same read that they were expecting on the side of Shopify Rebellion. They're gonna pair this with KDS on the Nook, rocking that new DMR, I do believe, as well. So some strong weaponry coming the way of FaZe Clan. This could be a look that Shopify Rebellion just aren't ready for.
I'm clapping and I'm giddy like a schoolgirl, Jesse, because there's a suppressor on the DMR on Nook. I cannot wait to hear what this sounds like. Oh. Let's just ride along. Let's just ride along. There's just something so satisfying about some of these suppressed weapons. The LMG, Ying's LMG suppressed, is one of the most satisfying sounding guns in any game I've ever heard.
Unless he shoots the default, there's nobody really to find at the moment. He's just holding the flank at the bottom of lobby stairs, and nobody from SR is making that kind of a move. It's definitely going to be a connector-focused push. You've seen Canadian on the Clash rotate over to this direction, so it's being read by Shopify Rebellion. Nobody really on the FaZe Clan side adding any other dimensions to this one.
Do we know if Spoit is on the top floor or is he down below? That's my question. He is on the top floor. So that should be really no flanks then.
No, Spoit would be the Raptors position. If anybody flanks, it'll be Surf, but he's on the smoke. I just don't know if he's really playing the operator to do it.
No, and Surf is positioned inside a command so that he can smoke both rafters and both doors leading into the B bomb site. The execute might be underway in but a second as there go the Candelas, but Vidaking backs off. Nitro Cell in hand for Rexon as he's prepped and ready. Out it goes, completely blind. Hard to tell if he hit it or not. I believe he did. Handy now just slowly edging his way in. And Rexon somehow beats him. Excuse me. Vidaking will say something about it, trading him right off. But I have no idea how Rexon was able to land that kill. Chaos has been thrown in the midst of this site. Diffuser picked up by Souls as now there will be a brief lull as the smoke clears on the side of the B site.
One more Toxic Babe in Surf's pocket. They can still delay this longer. They've got to force that out if they're FaZe Clan, or they're going to have to go for a different plant spot. Soul's in the bomb site now, starts the plant. The Clash sees it, and the smokes come through.
And I think he's going to exactly, and they have to get out of there. KDS is down below. They'll juggle the defuse kit. They don't know how many smokes are left. Spoit takes one more down. An advantage for the Rebellion as Canadian still persists on this clash. Here's KDS on the flank. A nade goes out. He could do so much damage. Looking around towards the bomb chassis, taking down Ambi. Multiple dominoes fall. Very little time left. Canadian just needs to stay alive, and he's doing a good enough job at it. And they'll win the round off the timer. The Rebellion survive quite the scare, but managed to do it in all 15 rounds.
They hold that tack timeout till they need it. They use it to win the final and most important round, 15. It goes the way of Shopify Rebellion. It wasn't easy, but the world champions have lost a map at the Six Invitational.
Huge kudos to FaZe Clan for pushing Shopify Rebellion to the 15th round on Shopify Rebellion's map. Up next is FaZe's home soil. How will they fare? We'll find out in a few minutes.
a map 1 that had us at the edge of our seats, but eventually it goes in the way of Shopify Rebellion. And what a matchup, or a map so far, this has been. And it goes to show that with the quality of these two teams pushing it all the way, it gives us great Siege to watch.
And it was a game of fine margins, by the way.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Almost the team kill, but in the end, the kill ended up coming out. But yeah, all the way, and I think that was a game for the Siege purists. I absolutely loved watching 15 rounds. I could go and watch that again.
I mean, the tactical aspect of that game was absolutely crazy. You see it on all the operators that you saw there. The blitz usage, the C4 kill, the demos, the Capitao, the Nomad, and the Sledge to counter the Clash. Look at this, Jack. It is perfect beauty. It is theory crafting.
And just on that C4 kill as well, threw out the proximity alarm to bait out the Thatcher and then throw the C4. It was just a game of utility. It was a game of teamwork. Honestly, as a game of Siege, pure game of Siege, that was beautiful to watch as a neutral.
And every single round, I saw utility being used either to directly kill someone or indirectly lead to a kill. It was absolutely insane. In attack, they were using, the Grim, the Capitao, and the shields to move things around. On the opposite side, you saw the Clash being used, the gas grenade at the very last moment and the very last round to win the round. The utility and tactical aspect of these two teams, what makes them strong, it was beautiful to display. A clash of Siege purists, like you said.
I feel like the viewers at home couldn't see it during the highlights, but you two are about bouncing off the ceiling with the enthusiasm about this matchup and the quality of Siege that we have seen. But one of the things that we saw in this matchup as well, we talked about all these kinds of aspects. One of the more basic aspects was the amount of plans and the amount of retakes that we see coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw both teams kind of structuring their games for utility and for layers and for playing for the attack to take ground, to allow them the ground, and even especially in the side of FaZe, playing for the retake, which is not something that we normally see in Rainbow Six. We see it in other games, not in Rainbow Six, because when the diffuser goes down in Rainbow Six, the advantage is to the attack so often. Now, in the clips that you'll see, we start with this one, but there's 3 in total. FaZe win all 3 of these by retaking in a post-plant scenario, which is a little bit uncommon, but it was specifically playing for Shopify being the North American team, playing through those layers, as we said, and then trying to get them when they were vulnerable in that retake.
And look, that's another retake that they successfully achieved. And if you think about it, it was a smart play. The idea of Canadian is going to lead in an old way. He's going to be structured. He's going to go step by step. And in a way, yes, it's good, but it's also very predictable. So we're going to fall back to our layers. We're going to wait for them to take the spot. We're going to wait for them to plant. And then together, let's retake. And you look at Handy, Souls 1, pulling that one off, the 3rd one in a row. And when I was thinking about it, I was like, it's actually insane that they're allowing to go further back than we anticipate. In most teams that play to layers in defense, they will stop at the very last one, which is the bomb site. Yep. Here, FaZe took it at another level. They gave away the bomb site to play the retake, and that was beautiful to see.
And when you do that, you back yourself as a top team. You back yourself with communication and coordination, because when the diffuser is down, you have less than 45 seconds to successfully communicate and navigate a plan that can be on the fly. And FaZe managed to pull that off 3 times. Again, Rebellion managing to pull it off 1 time as well.
Almost had the same amount of kills, same amount of death, incredible amount of plants and retakes. That's 2 tactical teams playing each other. Yeah.
Honestly, it sounds incredible to me, but I feel like we need a bit of a breather after this matchup before we continue in towards the next map. So we have Demo standing by with an update on the B stream with Enterprise and Secret.
Welcome back to another B-Stream update. We're here in Group D this time, and we took a trip to the Aussies of Enterprise up against the Europeans of Team Secret. And what a performance from Team Secret, as you would expect. They're top of the group right now, and for good fashion, the Australians were sent packing today in a 7-3 into a 7-1. Your MVP was Jim for this day. Secret to lift the hammer. You heard it here first. Secret to win invite.
Thank you very much for the update, Demo. While we continue here with our matchup, and we get to send it to our guests, and surely this result has given some more hope for Shopify Rebellion.
I mean, for good reason, and they won their own map, but maybe not in the most confidence-inspiring of ways. When you asked us, what do we think of this particular bout? I said, FaZe will win 2-0 or Shopify will scrape it out through 3 maps. Well, that means FaZe has got to win their own map. Will that happen? Chalet on deck.
FaZe Clan and Shopify Rebellion both had played exactly 8 rounds of Chalet yesterday, Parker. Although for one of those teams it was a win, and for the other it was a loss. An embarrassing result versus D+ Kia for Shopify Rebellion, but FaZe Clan crushed Black Dragons on this map just 24 hours ago, and that's got to be part of the reason why they picked a map like this. It was, in my mind, one of the most obvious bans that Shopify Rebellion could have gone for in the map veto phase, but they chose to let it through, understanding that they'll be a different team than they were yesterday, and hopefully we see that coming out starting the defense now against FaZe.
A reminder of what's at stake as we get ready for Chalet. If FaZe Clan win this best of 3, which now can only be done by a technical reverse sweep, though I always do find it kind of funny calling it a reverse sweep when it's just 3 maps. Especially if it's your map in second. You're not really sweeping. You are losing your opponent's map, then you win yours, and then the tiebreaker. But if FaZe Clan win this series, they and D+ Kia will be immediately qualified for Phase 2. That will leave 2 remaining spots in this group that will be up for grabs. The 3 teams competing for it, it'll be the Shopify Rebellion, it'll be G2, and it'll be Black Dragons. And on your screen, there you go, the stakes that are at play here. Obviously, if you're the Rebellion, you've already picked up 1 point for winning your map. That's excellent. That's what you want. You win your own map, your opponent will probably win theirs, and then you go to the tiebreaker. FaZe Clan are quite the team, a very formidable foe, and you saw that on Nighthaven Labs. We know that FaZe Clan is a good Nighthaven Labs team. It doesn't matter how good Shopify Rebellion is, FaZe Clan are good on Labs. So giving you a run for your money, that's typical FaZe. The real question is going to be, if Shopify Rebellion doesn't win this map, how many rounds do they get? If they can scrape by with 4 or 5 rounds and push FaZe all the way in regulation, I think that sets us up pretty well for Clubhouse as our 3rd map to be a good match. But if FaZe show up like they did yesterday, and Shopify Rebellion show up like they did yesterday, I don't know how much hope I will have for map number 3.
I'll say this, Parker. I don't think yesterday is even in the considerations anymore. From what I just witnessed, Shopify Rebellion on Nighthaven Labs, I'm not worried about yesterday's demons haunting SR once again. What I'm more worried about is just the fact that FaZe are an exceptional Chalet team. This map really lends to their ability to play aggressive, to get up on those windows, to make some wild swings happen. And we've already seen it kind of in the operator bans, how some of these teams are going to try to address that. FaZe Clan banning out the Azami, specifically so they can play on some of those outside angles. They can grab some of those players without having to necessarily aggress into the building. And then Shopify Rebellion, they didn't choose to ban the Monty yesterday against D+ Kia. They ended up choosing to ban this time. They banned Grim Ying against D+. Now they ban Grim and Monty. So a little bit of respect being shown over towards Vidiking, who is, again, exceptional when it comes to the traditional shields.
Well, in keeping with what we said earlier about the way that maps are starting to trend towards the attackers, Chalet is not immune from that same trend. It has an almost identical win rate across both attack and defense as Nighthaven Labs. And just like Labs, there is a single bomb site on Chalet with a positive win rate for the defenders. But boy, oh boy, is it defender favored. Bar Gaming has been won over 75% of the time by the defenders. That is an overwhelming number. Usually most bomb sites are around 55 to 60%, and then the other side obviously is anywhere from 45 to 40%. To see it be won over 75% of the time by the defenders is really something else. That's Bar Gaming, by the way. Every other one of the sites on this map, attacker favored. That should immediately benefit FaZe Clan. Providing that FaZe Clan are locked in, and well, if you watch Nighthaven Labs, there's pretty good reason to think they are locked in.
Yeah, FaZe Clan are going to be just as deadly as they always are. There is no easy game for Shopify Rebellion tonight, no matter what map they end up on. So we'll see what this approach ends up looking like. It's not Bar Games, Parker. It's the other mid-floor site to start us off. The Rebellion choose to go kitchen and dining for their first defensive round. And FaZe Clan, bit of a untraditional way of approaching this so far. They haven't entered in through library, go for a full top floor clear like we see a lot of teams do. Instead, they've got some players outside of Solar. They've already got some players pressuring around the mid-floor. They we'll definitely get a sound cue about Ambi's positioning outside of bathroom, but end of the day, it's not going to result in any kills. It's a pretty passive place to place an air jab.
Yeah, I was going to say, they immediately hit that air jab. So that's information that's gained without really having to do too much. And you've got a number of air jabs, so it's not the end of the world. And one of them is used maybe a bit inefficiently.
Sure.
Well, I would say that's still a pretty good use of it. Right now, main focus is Solarian side. And Ambi was hitting his shots towards the end of map number 1, but struggles with the Selma, so it goes.
That's just a little bit of utility, going to make those top floor players a little bit less secure. Surf is going to be the main guy who will be affected by that, playing that master kind of closet and bedroom area. We see him on our screen now. We've also got Spoit to back him up way inside of Piano, so it's a really constructed top floor hold from Shopify Rebellion. They've got a lot of different angles, and again, FaZe Clan really haven't committed much to clearing through the top floor.
And first kill is going to go to Ambi, in keeping with what we saw on Nighthaven Labs. Shopify Rebellion were excellent at opening picks. It was what comes next that is a bit of a problem, and well, history is repeating itself. Rexon and Canadian felled by Cyber in very short order. The Brava bursts in, not just snatching gadgets, but also snatching some lives away from them. Vidiking will smoke himself now over towards the chassis. There goes the defuse kit. Surf is called into action. He's got a perfect read. That's an excellent counterplay. Vidiking will scramble off of that position. Upstairs control in place, and Vidiking is taking quite the beating from Surf. Under 30 seconds to go. Diffuse kit will be maneuvered elsewhere. It was that bulletproof camera that was the problem. Cyber with all 3 kills on the side of FaZe Clan. He's in fine form. It's Ambi and Surf that you need to take care of. Surf, unrelenting upstairs. Ambi drops down to take matters into his own hands, greeted by KDS. And Souls will sit outside on the Solarium window to give FaZe round number 1.
Couple of things in that round, Parker. Number 1, Cyber went nuclear. We don't need to expand on that much more. Entered into the south side, over towards Fireplace, gets 2 big kills. Spoit tries to flank. He tries to go down those main Fireplace stairs to be able to get the trade back on his 2 teammates, but also ends up losing the gunfight to the 27-year-old entry fragger on FaZe Clan. Then in the site, I mean, it takes Vidiking a very long time, but eventually realizes he's on a bulletproof camera, is able to punch that out. It's unfortunate none of those players above, particularly Surf or Ambi, couldn't find that denial onto the plants. They couldn't actually get the kill onto Vidiking. Once that plant goes down, it becomes such a difficult round for Shopify Rebellion to try to get the win. They deal 99 damage, it feels like, to Vidiking, but in the end, can't actually get the finishing blow. And so that plant goes down, and FaZe Clan go 1-0 up.
Canadian was so effective on the clash in the previous map, and we'll waste no time to hop onto this operator. And well, if you look at the lineup, an operator that has seen his own pick rate flourish is Denari, and this is a great map for Denari. This was one of the first maps, actually, that we saw a Swiss operator get played quite regularly. The newest technical operator out of the game, because Thatcher was a rework.
Yep.
The good thing about a map like Chalet for the defenders is that you can have multiple ways into a bomb site or into a portion of the map, but you really only need to watch 1 or 2 of them. Denari can stretch his gadgets, especially on those first floor bomb sites, but also upstairs if need be, through a variety of walls and head holes, feed holes that are created by that secondary shotgun brought so effectively. Brava has been a real nuisance for Shopify Rebellion, and looks like Cyber will use that first clutch drone to pretty good effect.
Yeah, all the util clear already coming out very sharply from FaZe Clan. Still plenty defined. Canadian played this clash on this bomb site yesterday in their matchup against D plus Kia. Obviously wasn't the most successful, as most rounds were not in that game against the Brazilian team. Fighting inside of Library as we see some quick shots coming out from KDS, but he resorts back to the utility as the player close on his window, Surf, falls all the way back to Mezzanine. A little bit aggressive maybe coming out from Damien, but in the end he does manage to step back and keep himself alive.
Oh, first name, first name, first name. Are you pals with him or something? Surf is Damien, if people are curious. Handy will strike first in this second round, gunning down Ambi, who's not exactly the most productive start to Chalet, but that's okay. Ebbs and flows for these players. You just have to make sure that Ambi is good when it counts the most. Spoit will die, but his gadgets will persist. That's 2 quick blows for the Rebellion, and a third could be had as Surf is flushed out of his position, dancing around a nade, punished by FaZe. They've only surrendered Vidiking at this point. Rexon and Canadian are last 2 alive. Canadian squelched by the nade, sent out in hand by Souls. Rexon will now retake the bomb site, playing between B, looking at A, outdueling KDS, but Souls is there in tow as the last two players could have easily pinched him. The Deimos gets the job done, and FaZe Clan off to a quick 2-0 start.
Huge 4K coming out. I honestly thought Rexon had that for a moment there. He was very close with that second last kill, but in the end, shut down by Souls, gathering his 4th kill of the round, 5th kill of the map. Don't forget yesterday, Souls was a beast. I know he got off to a slow start over on map 1, but yesterday against Black Dragons, he put up a 4.75 KDR. As far as my data goes, and I only go back a few years, but as far as I can find, that is the craziest, that is the best KD of any player in their opening game of a Six Invitational. So Souls really was putting in the work yesterday afternoon when they had that late matchup against Black Dragons on the B stream. Here on the A stream, he is finally putting in that work once again. A 5-0 start is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, and again, Souls obviously was a player that we say the name of quite often, but it is sneaky how some of these players can rack up an incredible amount of kills.
10 seconds to insertion.
Highest rated player heading into today. We'll see where he shakes out when all is said and done. Not that we want you to stop watching this broadcast, but over on the B stream, Fluxo, W7M, and OXG, Oxygen, are currently doing battle.
Gonna be exciting to see how this one goes by. Bottom floor bomb site is what we see from Shopify Rebellion. We may have had some tech issues there, so I apologize if we did, but
apparently they lost my audio.
Okay, wonderfully.
And that's okay for the haters. For the haters, they probably enjoyed it very much. I don't know. I haven't moved. I'm still sitting here. But
all right. Well, Parker, I'm excited to tell you that this bottom floor bomb site from Shopify Rebellion is a new site, despite the fact that they played 6 rounds of defense versus D plus Kia. This bottom floor was the one that they never decided to bring out. In fact, Shopify Rebellion this season have only played this bomb site a single time. That was back in June. So there's really no footage for what SR like to do on this site, and FaZe Clan will have to problem solve this. Go through the office top floor.
I had a good point to be made, but I seemingly lost it when they lost my audio. Oh, my goodness. FaZe playing with 2 yet again. The real glimmer of hope for this SR team was how often they could strike first, and now that seems to have fallen by the wayside. Rexon and Ambi gone again. Ambi having a rough start to Chalet. Cyber taking a beating. Oh my. Oh my.
Yes.
Oh my. Surf just standing completely still. Now it's going to fall onto the shoulders of Spoit and Canadian. Spoit with 1. Still 4 more targets to be found on the side of FaZe. The Brazilians having a great go of it with 1:20 on the clock.
Maybe there's a reason they haven't played this site since June, Parker. Everybody's falling to pieces. But Canadian gets 1 back, and now they're only down by a 1-man deficit. He's in the bomb site, Spoit's inside a bar. A sliver of HP being hunted down by Cyber as the other 2 Brazilians are attacking the wine bomb site.
Out go the fire arrows. Canadian pushed off of this position, isolated inside a connector, pulls out the Nitro Cell a bit too early and gives himself a greater vantage point, as it's now given time for Spoit to maneuver towards blue. These 2 remaining players from the Rebellion are both in the same spot, neither of them able to stop Handy from getting the diffuser planted. Souls yet to die. Handy now lined up, seeing him on the ground. Down goes Spoit. Handy turns around. They know they've got Canadian stuck inside a connector, and it's Cyber with the final kill. An unstoppable attack 3 times in a row for FaZe Clan. What more can be said here?
Beautiful little push. I mean, they did exactly what they needed to on that bottom floor site. Might not have been something they were expecting given Shopify Rebellion's history, but did a great job of pressuring that bottom floor in through Big Garage while at the same time applying pressure up on the top floor as well, hunting down a lot of those players very quickly, very early. Love the use of the ram to have an entry in through the office doorway. Nothing crazy, nothing that we're not seeing across a lot of different teams, but it's just Cyber's ability to make that entry happen on a ton of different operators that I find so impressive.
I think it's fine if we switch back, but I just want you to be aware they are doing the stuff that we expected them to do. We just have to make sure when we're moving around, we're covering gaps, because we've been delaying time, but we're getting solo pick, right? The thing that we talked about is we want to be fighting wherever they are and trying to like force trades, get the numbers down. We're not doing that at all. It's 1 by 1 by 1, okay? For that. Yeah. So if we know they're going solar, think about the positions, right? If they're on the repels, they're going to be setting up through trophy, walking up West Main. We literally know that with the like backside pressure. If they're going for this master, they're going to bring a Deimos under. Be careful of that. If they go solar, if not, they're just going to full clear and set it up that way. The biggest thing, guys, is it doesn't really matter what the fuck they're doing. We just need to be playing together because right now it's not happening.
Okay.
Yeah. Right? Be fast to move.
Do you... Okay, I was going to say maybe run Vigil or no?
These are important and wise words coming out from Super, the single oldest known support staff that we have here at the Six Invitational, and an extremely experienced one as well. Don't forget, Super's first SI came all the way back in 2018 when he, Bosco, and Gurmy Wormy, along with others, managed to play for
my God.
Era Eternity and finished in dead last place. Super has come a long way since that event, and I think has made himself an exceptional coach in the North American scene. Wants his team to be playing together, listening, and focused on these strats that they know FaZe Clan like to play.
Gurmy Wormy. Oh my goodness.
Bet you didn't think he'd be getting a shout out on the 2026 SI broadcast.
When I was first getting into Siege as a caster, Gurmy Wormy, Adam, some of those guys I spent a ton of time with. Just an awesome dude all around the board, all across the board. I haven't spoken to him in so long. I hope he's doing well. There's some of those old NA guys. MENA was another one, basically just Obey Alliance basically ended the career of several players. It went so poorly, and then I think my man was just like, I'm gonna go work for my dad, and then nobody ever heard from him again.
Okay.
Chopstick is another name of an old player that every now and then I see him online on Steam, and I hope he's doing well too.
Yeah. I did search to try to find some info on Gurmy Wormy, but he's deleted his Twitter profile, so couldn't find him.
Why would you need more info for that anecdote? You just
it's always good to have more,
you just
Parker.
Need to know he played with Gurmy Wormy way back in the day.
If he had gone on to become like a lawyer or something, I think that would have been worth mentioning.
I'm sure we could find more info. He probably has a LinkedIn if he works a real job.
Util play's been strong from FaZe Clan. We've got the castle barricades being cleared out, and already handy inside of games. There's 3 bodies across the hallway from him. He finds 1, but the kill's going back the other way too. KDS enters in through Mudroom, gets a double kill, and this has gone all the way now for FaZe Clan. 3 for KDS, and they've got everybody but Canadian.
He's been playing a lot better at this event, but usually having Canadian as your last alive is not particularly confidence-inspiring. He is inarguably the least mechanically skilled of all the players on the Rebellion, but again, it's not really his job to be the mechanically skilled guy. He gets beaten by Souls, and it's 4-0 for FaZe Clan, so let me back it up a bit here.
Okay.
Do you remember what I said about what we could predict map 3 off of?
Yeah.
In case you need a reminder at home, I said, if the Rebellion can get 3-4 rounds here on Chalet, then I think map number 3 is going to be pretty competitive.
Yeah.
FaZe Clan is 3 rounds away from winning 7-0. So I do kind of fear for the Rebellion. It's never a great sign, or very rarely, let me correct myself, very rarely is it good when you have to scrape by to win your map. 8-7.
Yeah.
It's very rarely confidence-inspiring. But a win's a win. Nobody is going to care that you won 8-7 if you end up winning this best of 3 on map number 1. Maybe you'll care. Maybe the coach will care.
Sure.
Maybe we'll get another Fabian-esque tweet where he says, I don't care that we won, we need to be there. Who knows? But there is very little good here on the side of the Rebellion. They have 7 kills through 4 completed rounds, averaging just under 2 kills a round.
Yeah, and I mean, that last round might have been the worst of all of them, Parker. All those deaths not even happening close to the bomb site, all towards games where much of their utility was not being set up. So Shopify Rebellion caught, I think, a little bit with their pants down in that previous round, which means FaZe Clan have just started to roll momentum into even more momentum, and that's never what you want going up against such a dangerous team like FaZe Clan. They'll retreat back to Kitchen. This was one of those bomb sites that they started the map with. They like to play on this site quite a bit. Running back to it now here in round number 5 could offer a bit of a chance to repeat some sites, maybe change things up. Fix some mistakes, if you will, going into this one. I like Vidaking on the Ying, though. Cyber on the Blitz. This is going to be a very annoying operator lineup to play up against. In Shopify Rebellion, I'm not seeing a Warden, so these flashbangs could be really devastating. They have to rely on their magnets and, of course, those Surya gates.
And off to the races is Cyber on Blitz. A bit perplexing, and he struggles to hit the Amaya. Surf, but gets the job done. Surf yet to find a kill. He's the only one on his team that's held off the score sheet. Cyber still in hot pursuit, pushing these players from the Rebellion deep into Solarium. Spoit firing away. 2 kills for the Swede. KDS will gun down Rexon. That's top frag on Rebellion. And now Handy will try to follow. Good targeting, but just missing out on Spoit, who scampers off. Still just running away from Handy. Canadian found by KDS, and it's all up to Spoit. Big Willie fighting against the Blitz. You ever get slapped on that shield so hard you lean IRL? I am amazed at what Spoit was able to pull off there, but they were in pursuit for so long, it was only a matter of time until they got him, and get him they did. 5-0 for FaZe Clan.
No help for the superstar. He's trying to do everything that he can, but Spoit just cannot manage to find 5 kills while also being tracked by the death mark. KDS, another multi-kill to come through. Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that is now 6 kills across the last 2 rounds from KDS. Is finding a huge impact on exploiting these gaps, finding out players when they're focused on other distractions. Both of those rounds, actually, last one and this one, most of the defenders are staring at a shield. Most of the defenders are worried about the big clunking machines scrambling through the map at them, but it's really KDS that's been the big threat. Nice final kill to come through there, but in the end, there's just so much to look at. There's so much to focus on, and FaZe Clan have been so scary on Chalet.
Big clunking machines. They're not mechs, Jesse.
They feel like them when Cyber's the one doing it. You know, he's the cyber shield player.
Before insertion.
There's something there.
He's a cyber sportsman.
There's something there.
Something there.
Before insertion.
We can workshop it. We will get better.
Chat, we'll get back to you. Map 3, maybe we'll have something.
I mean, hey, what about a little audience participation here? We've got at least one intelligent person in Twitch chat. I'm sure they could come up with something good.
All right, let's be realistic.
0?
KDS now 7 kills across 3 rounds. He's been unstoppable ever since that tack timeout, frankly. Not sure if it was something being said by the coach, but he's been powered up the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, no kidding. Souls and KDS have combined for 16 kills up to this point. 10 kills for the Rebellion across the board. Again, kills are the problem. FaZe Clan have been taking no prisoners on these attacks, droning very effectively and following up briskly. Chalet is a relatively favorable map to the attackers. As we said, there's only really one good bomb site for the defenders. It just gets played so frequently. Surf and Spoit with a kill apiece, but Vidaking dies to some martyrdom as the grenade that had been, Surf dies to the martyrdom that was used by Vidaking. Souls gets taken down. Cyber in the midst of the smoke on 1 HP. Diffuser goes down and he does not make it out of the building. I don't want to say too little too late, because at any point in time, it's good to get on the board.
Yeah.
But the final round of the first half, when the Rebellion should have won easily 2 more rounds, I don't know. FaZe Clan 5-1, they'll swap sides, and things should get better for the Brazilians from here on out.
Listen, I mean, you'll take the 5-1. Any day you'll take the 5-1. It's better than 6-0. That one round can sometimes make a massive difference. It was the score at the half, I believe, when FaZe Clan choked out their first SI Grand Finals, right? So they know what it takes to lose from this position. Also know what it takes to win. They've been around the block quite a few times. I want to go back to Rexon on that previous round. His play inside of Library on the vert was absolutely exceptional. Getting that last kill on a Cyber, of course, but was able to get a just as critical kill in the midst of that round onto KDS through the verticality. A lot of those FaZe Clan players were not so focused on the top floor, hoping they could sneak a plant under the smokes, under the yings, under the shield. They had a lot that could get that plant down, but with a good anchor play from Surf, some really nice vert play from Rexon, and it just didn't get the job done.
They've already used their timeout, and now they go on to the harder side. Well, I mean, hey, that's harder side based on statistics. That's not necessarily harder side based on practice here, Jesse. And I mean, there are times where we will go to one of the most defender-sided maps in the game. Say, like, back when Clubhouse was over 60% of the rounds were being won by defenders. And then a couple bans and some really bad defending teams with great attacking rates go head-to-head, and, well, the attackers win 10 of the 12 rounds.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you this, Parker. FaZe Clan
I'm interested.
FaZe Clan played 6 defenses yesterday on Chalet against D plus Kia, and they went 5-1, and that doesn't sound so inspiring for Shopify Rebellion fans, but 6 rounds is 6 rounds of VOD. 6 rounds are 6 rounds of strats. That's a lot of research that SR should have on FaZe Clan's defense coming into this game. It was against Black Dragons, but I do hope that there might be some way for Shopify Rebellion to look into their notes, look into their stats, and be able to bounce back.
The opponent is irrelevant. It was the fact that they played 6 rounds on Chalet. It doesn't matter who they played against.
Yeah, well, you know.
Now, do you believe in what you just said after we said that basically they played ranked?
They ended up playing ranked, but I think at the start, you know, they were, it's not like they were just saying, let's run defaults as Black Dragons. It's still SI, end of the day. I think they were playing their main strats.
Cyber spawn peaked with a Scorpion.
And he got the kill. He jumped out of bathroom, actually, as well. Well, he did both.
He got the kill from bathroom. He did not get the kill.
He got the kill when he jumped out. He did not get the kill when he spawn peaked. But he's still playing the Scorpion, so that is his main strat.
Well, they saw how quickly FaZe could crack this egg. Well, what if SR does exactly the same? Sploit's already thrown out that ROU projector. There was some... Ambi's having a bad game.
Fair to say.
That is, it's a bit of shakes that he's going to need to settle down just a tiny, tiny bit. Oh my.
That should settle him a bit.
I don't think that will help. I think that will make it worse.
Can take the next couple minutes off at least.
Shopify Rebellion finally getting on the board. Sploit eliminating Cybers. We hit the halfway point in the round, but the Scorpions again. The sting from the Scorpion tail ever so hurtful. KDS gunning down Surf and Canadian.
At least he's smiling. At least he's smiling, man.
We flicked to Canadian. This has almost turned into a comedy at this point.
Yeah.
Canadian, we flicked to Canadian right as the last player died, and Canadian literally leaned back in his chair, put his head up, and then just started laughing like, what do you want me to do, man? Like, a 6-1 for FaZe incoming, unless Troy Jaroslavsky can clutch out, and he could not. Handy gets the final kill right as Canadian vaults into the library window, and 1 round away from us going to a break and Clubhouse.
And there's no thought in Troy's mind just sit on the roof and save his KD, because his KD's unsavable anyways.
That's mean.
He's big bad Nady. Well, I mean, he's not on this team for his KD. He's on this team for the brain and for the calms.
Big brain Nadian.
Big brain Nadian.
They clamped down on the ability to do stuff like that because there was a period of time where I actually really enjoyed when players would be on the outs, they would put super in their name. That is so hurt. That is mean.
That's mean.
That is so mean.
Don't say I'm mean when that's mean.
Back in the early days, around the time of the Paris Major, Atlantic City, all that jazz. Players, when they were facing elimination, would put super in front of their handle, so like Super Astro, Super Liven. Canadian would go with Big Bad Nadian when he was on the outs. It was cool stuff. And then production was like, you're not allowed to have fun anymore. And then that was it.
Yeah.
I honestly think a big part of that change was Geo.
Geo would change it like all the time. And he had the ridiculous names.
The worst part was that was back when the UI was on the top of the screen and it would only show the first 3 letters of your name. So Geo would go with like Sleepy Geo and then his name would just show as SLE. Or he was Sen Poppy Geo and it would just be SEN and you're like, who the hell is that?
There's no way to know.
Your name is just the 3 letters. You can see your whole name. It was very amusing. If you wonder why we're waffling, it's because FaZe is showing us a masterclass here on Chalet. They toppled Black Dragons 7-1 on this map yesterday. And they're playing a little bit more freeform now that they've been able to run up the score. Can't get too cute, though. Handy, the first casualty, and he died very early in the round. So out of 4 remaining players from FaZe, gotta get a bit more aggressive, and Souls will do that. Rexon taken out by main door. That's the vigil of Souls, not roaming, but sitting inside the site.
Couple of players already, I mean, exchanging those fights. I think you take that trade ultimately just because any trade is takeable for Shopify Rebellion. With Handy going down, you just want to get some of these players off the board. And he's had such a good game so far, 7-3. Everybody, I think you can say that for FaZe Clan. They've extended a little bit above the bomb site, and Shopify Rebellion are actually going for a full master side over clear. So they're going to end up with a lot of map control. Very different to the approach that they were taking, of course, back on Nighthaven Labs. Opens them up potentially to a bit of a late round flank if somebody does want to go for it. But I think if you're FaZe Clan, you're kind of happy just to wait until this round comes to a close. Canadian on this Sens is probably going to be what you're focused on for the brunt of this plant. You can try to use that Sens wall to maybe dodge past some of those library players and get down the stairs. But ultimately, it's going to be that verticality that has to be cleared out if they're going to play this objectively.
I was so confused there. We saw the Vector in hand, and then we heard the Scorpion, and I was like, what is that sound? Assembling outside of Library. Now a grenade will go in, flushing KDS off of his position. Successfully done. Souls with 3 kills, shut down by Canadian. And now Surf and Canadian will link up with Vidaking and KDS as the 2 to fall. A tale of 2 completely different players. Vidaking with just a single kill through 7 completed rounds. KDS with 10. Surf and Canadian not much better than what Vidaking has. They're wandering upstairs. No time for drones, though it does show that Canadian has one in pocket. He will take some time to go into Discovery, but he is running out of room. 30 seconds left. Vidaking spotted. He'll be on the run and will rotate over towards blue, leaving KDS on the bomb site to defend against these players. Spot on. Surf and Canadian from above. A drop now in from Canadian. Final EE1D will go. These 2 working together so effectively. But FaZe Clan put this one away. An anticlimactic ending. Chalet played twice by FaZe Clan over the last 24 hours, and they have not lost more than 2 rounds combined. That is an impressive tally. And I suspect this map will move into permaban territory against FaZe from here on out.
Shopify Rebellion playing this map 2 times in the last 24 hours too, and have won 2 rounds combined. So maybe permaban territory for SR as well. This series still has yet to be decided. The buffer is still remaining. So one more map will see us as we get the decider between FaZe and Shopify Rebellion.
was a serious lock-in from FaZe to bring this series back. And something we were talking about inside of this series was the layers that we saw on that first map, the strategic gameplay. And yes, sure, Shopify Rebellion has so many, but FaZe has way more.
I mean, you stop Night Heaven Labs and you have one of the slowest games ever. You go into Chalet and suddenly it's 20 seconds in the round. You see a Lion running at you, a Blitz, a Demos, and that's FaZe for you. A completely different play style. They understood the assignment. They understood they were not able to beat Shopify Rebellion at the slow game, so they brought in the pace and the aggression, and Jack, it seems to work.
And ultimately, that's what makes FaZe a world champion team, right? Is the ability to play a slow, methodical, structured, utility-based game on Night Haven Labs, and then get into Chalet and play your shields, play your cheesy operators, play your aggressive 3-2-1 double swinging, aggression coming out on that attack. Having those different layers, those different styles, those different identities, but not just having them, being able to commit to them and being in such sync, and that's why FaZe just ran away with Chalet. The map definitely lends itself to that change in style, and I think Shopify were just not ready for that whatsoever.
Ouch, is what I'm thinking when I'm looking at the right side of my screen right now. We're seeing a head-to-head between the two players that we expect to pop off inside the series. But so far in map 2, it seems like it's only KDS who's doing that.
Yeah, the two players supposed to be the entries, and if you think about it, if the pace has been the main difference maker in this match, then the fraggers should be at the forefront of that. And in the results of FaZe versus Shopify Rebellion on Chalet, you see the two difference between the two fraggers. KDS 11 and 4, 100% cost. You look at Ambi, divided by 4. It's been a real struggle for him.
Yeah, and I will just say, I absolutely love the operator selection that KDS brings. I love the fact that he plays so much striker. That operator is so versatile.
Yep.
Obviously, you can use it as a utility-based operator, but you can also just use it as a pure entry. You can burn anything, with the flashes for the, Jaegers, Wamais, Aruni gates, anything like that, and then you have the nades as well.
Now the question is, what do these two teams need to show us on a map like Clubhouse, which is completely different than the first two ones in this series, to make sure they secure the most amount of points?
Well, there's a train of thought that actually, if you're a Shopify Rebellion fan, is that you're thinking, right, Chalet is now over. That style of map is now over. We go on to a Clubhouse where even if a team brings more pace, it can be managed, because all of the attacks and all the defenses of Clubhouse are so well thought out, structured and known at this point that they can't be surprised. So realistically for them, I think it's just about writing off map 2 and getting back to what works for them on Night Haven Labs.
At the same time, I think that this experiment in Chalet of disrupting the playstyle of Shopify Rebellion is probably the best way that FaZe could look into Clubhouse. The idea is, if we play slow and methodical in Clubhouse like we should, and we see that Shopify Rebellion is gaining advantage and momentum again, let's try to be disruptive again. Let's change the pace, let's bring unusual operators, and they won't know how to adapt.
Right, I like how we get a bit for both these teams here. The question is, though, who really can make it happen? The final map, Clubhouse, is ready.
All right, Jesse, what happens here in this final and third map? Do the Rebellion manage to screw their heads back on after that quick Chalet, or does FaZe Clan put them, and even maybe us, out of our misery?
We'll have to find out, Parker. Clubhouse, a scary map, but FaZe and Shopify, they're ready for it.
All right.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, Parker, in the history of the Six Invitational, only one player has competed at every single event since the game's inception. Can Canadian, the most experienced player in the world, lead his team to bounce back against FaZe Clan after a brutal 7-1 loss on map number 2? The devs seem to think there was hope with a change of playstyle. With this map, I would say leaning more towards the playstyle of Night Haven than the one of Chalet. Maybe we can see SR pull themselves back together, get themselves back on track, slow the game down to beat FaZe Clan, but it's really going to be dependent on how FaZe want to start off on these attacks.
There is a pause that has come in. I'm not sure why. You saw both Rexon and Surf were calling for it right away, and it looked like the admin was talking to them. I'm curious what the reason for that is.
I'm getting some word. Apparently there is a bit of a disruption on who starts on what side. So they're going to get that figured out. And then we'll either resume or remake based on what they determine. Right now we have FaZe on the attack, which is why I said FaZe start on their attacks. But we'll see if that does hold.
Wait, admin confirmation here.
And I believe we're switching it up.
I imagine so.
So, with FaZe Clan moving back over to the defense, I would honestly say that I don't know if it gives anyone a particular advantage in this map, Parker, but I think it's going to make this a little bit less clear how the game's going to go, because I'm most worried about what FaZe Clan's attacks look like. I think if Shopify Rebellion cannot find some way to slow down these FaZe Clan attacks, cannot find some way to make this map look more like Nighthaven than it did like Chalet, that's going to be where the danger comes. And we're not going to see FaZe Clan's attacks until until definitely round 7 with them starting on the defense. So you're going to have to wait and see exactly how this one goes through. But if we do get to see FaZe Clan off on those attacks, whether it's the first half or the second, and they can keep the pace up, as Leo said on the desk, I worry for the North Americans.
Just waiting, just trying to hear what Rexon was saying, is they've all been talking. There are technically rules about not talking during a tech pause, but this is considered a rehost, so I don't know if those same rules apply, Jesse. Chalet is the most played map. We just saw it on our screens. Well, Clubhouse is second. It said 84 rounds played, trailing Clubhouse by 3 rounds. And Clubhouse, right now, is the second most defender-sided map after Cafe Dostoevsky, but we've seen very little Cafe Dostoevsky. So,
yeah,
obviously, smaller sample sizes will skew the numbers, because if you only have a map played once, for example, and let's say it's a 7-0 and you start as a defender, you go 6-0 as a defender, and then lose one attack, they win as a defender, and then you win it as an attack. Like, it's just, like I said, skew those numbers. Here on Clubhouse, we have seen a single bar stage. It was won one time by the attackers. Shout out those of you in chat that can name the team that went there. Beyond that, it's just the 3 usual bomb sites. They've been taking up most of the oxygen in the room. Obviously, the basement bomb site is the most played. That is as normal as can be. And we referenced this in our matchup earlier today that we did when we saw Clubhouse. That CCTV cache bomb site is approaching a 70% win rate for the defenders, eating up so much of the time and energy from these teams. The other bomb sites have swung towards the defenders as well. There is really no good attacker bomb site on this map. So Shopify Rebellion starting an attack will certainly have their work cut out for them early.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well, just talking about Clubhouse as a map, that FaZe Clan got both Chalet and Club in this best-of-3 series, because those were the 2 maps where they beat Black Dragons yesterday. And because that game was so quick, there's not a ton of footage. There will be some, but there's not a crazy amount of footage for SR to go back and VOD review. It also means for FaZe Clan going deeper into this group stage, and especially if they can get a deep run into the playoffs, which it's FaZe Clan, they almost certainly will. They're going to be able to hide some strats before they, on some other maps, before they have to show them off in those later best of 3s. So FaZe have really done themselves a bit of a nice deed for the future, playing the same 2 maps across both their first and second playday, meaning they have plenty of maps hidden up their sleeve for the rest of the event.
Yeah, I mean, there is something to be said about efficiency, right? If you're winning all your games 2-0 and pretty quickly 2-0, I know that I made a joke about it when you referenced it on Chalet in the previous map, that, oh, well, you know, when you said, oh, well, they've got VODs on them, and I'm like, yeah. Oh, yeah, but if they're running around like a bunch of chickens with their head cut off, you know, you're not really gaining a lot from those VODs. But it really is true. If you are only playing 8, 9, 10 rounds on 2 maps in every single one of your series, it will be much harder for your opponents to counter-strat you. Even if they do counter-strat you, the level of success you can find in dealing with that is far from guaranteed. Seth Super, their coach, literally said, guys, they're doing everything that we said they would do.
Yeah.
And yet, it was a 7-1 victory for FaZe Clan. The Rebellion knew what was going to happen, and there's no way to prevent it.
Well, it's a full anchor to start things off for FaZe, so we're not speeding things up on the defensive side, that's for sure. They've got 5 guys still stuck in the basement, and there might be some mute jammers tossed around that top or middle floor. That can sometimes be a strategy that teams use just to try to fake like there might be a roam, force them to try to go for some more committed roam clears, and that's exactly what we are seeing. Canadian pre-firing nothing at all because you don't know what's clear. You can't exactly drone it out with those mute jammers being placed where they are. So a nice tactic from FaZe Clan, hoping to slow down this roam clear as much as they can, but Shopify Rebellion at about the 90-second mark now are realizing for sure there's no roamers, we can just focus on this side.
And this goes back to what gets said often when we see Clubhouse on the map, right? It's that we're on the board. When you see Clubhouse, you know it's going to take 1 minute and 32 minutes to drone out if there's nobody roaming.
Yeah.
Now, of course, on these bottom floor bomb sites, there's a lot of ways you can go about it. Some teams can extend to just a main floor roam. Some will invest quite heavily upstairs. And then if they don't get picked off, they can fall back to the site really effectively. It's
Magazine.
really just comes down to a matter of preference. Cyber getting killed by Spoid is an interesting start to this map.
Yeah, tries to push up the main stairs, tries to get cheeky with it. Maybe that's the speed that they're trying to incorporate into this game, but ultimately doesn't pay off for FaZe Clan. The breaching also going very well for the North American team. They get the church wall, they get the kitchen hatch at the same time as we saw in that picture-in-picture. So lots of angles open up for Shopify Rebellion for the final 40 seconds.
And credit to Shopify Rebellion for looking more confident on this attack than at any point they did on Chalet. This is a big difference in how they approach this map. They're going to run headfirst into this FaZe Clan team. Limited time remaining. Canadian holding that case as Ambi will now drop and go through Moto. Canadian is in the exact same spot. KDS gunning down Rexon. Church has not been flushed out. Nade will go off. Surf on the board to join Spoit's kill. That's Spoit now gunned down by Vidaking. Ambi charging his way through Moto, but he gets gunned away at. He takes one down, and it's all up to Vidaking. Ambi, Surf, and Canadian are there. Canadian with defuse kit. Very limited HP. Vidaking, no gas canisters remaining. He takes Ambi down, but Surf shuts this down, and the Rebellion start off with a win in round 1.
Scary first round, though. If Vidaking had found the head of Canadian, we were on 0-0. That would have been a defensive round win, even without finding every frag. But in the end, it's a good push coming through from Shopify Rebellion. The core of that push, of course, Canadian plus Ambi plus Surf. Those were the guys pushing Moto and pushing through main stairs. They also had Spoit on the kitchen hatch and Rexon pushing in through blue. Didn't maybe find too many kills in that execute, but were able to distract enough for those main pushers on Shopify Rebellion to get that space, get into a plant position, and get the kills that they needed to protect that plant. Really nicely played by SR.
The player that I'm going to be watching the most this game was a player whose name came up a few times in Map 1 and Map 2, but not necessarily for the same reason across those. That's going to be Ambi. Ambi enters as the lowest rated player in this lobby. Now, if Ambi was playing hard support, probably wouldn't even really be worth talking about more than just a casual mention.
Yeah.
But Ambi is the guy who should be carrying your team point blank. He is consistently one of the best performing players on the Rebellion, and yet today he has had a really rough game. I don't know why. I'm not going to begin to speculate why. We saw he had some very obvious struggles just aiming his weapon on Chalet. So maybe it's nerves, maybe it's fatigue. You never really know. But you're going to need more out of him to keep up with a team like FaZe.
We can certainly say it's not arthritis, because for the last 2 years, Ambi has been the youngest player at the Six Invitational. This year, that crown was finally stolen by Stompin', so he is no longer the youngest player. But being 19 years old and already competing at your 3rd Invitational is a pretty ridiculous feat. He entered today with a plus 42 KD across all of his Six Invitational games as well. So we're used to see him popping off and being the main fragger on the team. Just hasn't really come to fruition against FaZe Clan.
And I mean, it's partially that Ambi might be having some issues, but you also have to credit this FaZe team.
For sure.
FaZe consistently makes top fraggers look weak. That's just the way that they play. They are often stifling their roam, having to match up against guys like Cyber, like KDS, like Souls consistently, who can easily kill you without a second thought. It's tough opposition, and I mean, if you've got a great gunner and he just cannot deal with the aggression on their side. Oh God, I think I did it again, Jesse. Last time I talked about Ambi underperforming, he got a 4K. Ambi starting off this round with a pick. Handy is gone, and Shopify Rebellion get the opening pick.
call that the caster bless, and it really has been Ambi, Spoit, and Canadian focused on this garage side of the map. He got that pick over towards Customs, as a lot of the team were focused on the Rafters player. We see that position has been given up for free now by FaZe Clan. KDS and Vidaking are the only ones still lurking around Cash and top red. How long they want to stay here is really going to determine what this defense looks like for the rest of the round.
They've got FaZe Clan on the run. They were holding off over towards CCTV and Cash. That's the beachhead that's usually established. You'll reinforce that CCTV wall. Require the attackers to waste time and utility to cut right through it before they can get to the bomb site. Perfect use of that time for FaZe Clan. Watching the clock, using the utility to their disposal, and then, oh my goodness, getting out of there. Souls, what? Canadian becomes comedian on that one. Souls still survives, and now Cyber gets on the board as well. Finally, Souls is punished by Rexon, but Canadian having some issues. I think he hit the gun. The gun does not have a hitbox. You can light up the weapon as much as you want, but that is an unfortunate situation. And it's left Shopify Rebellion in a bit of a hole with only 30 seconds to go. A hole they are unlikely to climb out of now, Jesse, as Rexon is all alone with Spoit's death happening moments ago.
Pretty unwinnable from Richie. We'll see what he can do outside the building. Jumps in, he is in a crossfire, knows it now, and KDS hits the final shot to make this one go the way of FaZe. Tie us up at 1. You really go back to that gym bedroom plans. Everything was looking quite good for Shopify Rebellion, but not being able to get the kill onto the Azami makes a gym plant just impossible. And with Canadian going down, it becomes really tricky.
You need a spotter when Canadian's in the gym, I guess, and they just didn't have one. That was a joke. A spotter is somebody who helps you when you're trying to lift weight.
Parker, I've never been to a gym. How would I know that?
I didn't need confirmation, but I had suspicions. Yeah. Okay, I will say, when you see it in slow motion, it does kind of look like he should have hit him a couple times. I will give a little bit more credit and grace to Canadian than maybe my initial giggle warranted.
Honestly, like, I was really impressed by Souls. The fact that he knows I'm being fired out by Capitao, I've got to go to the other corner where the window can't see me, then gets that kill, then gets the second frag on the Jacuzzi player. I mean, that was a really impressive play by the Azami.
And I'm sure that he had some intel with that Jacuzzi breach, but it's very easy to just stay posted up and watch that wall or watch that window, because usually there's somebody else out there in that position. Instead, he gets fed info that even with the Azami barrier, the Kiba barrier on the main door. He pivots over, gets the pick, and it is so important for him and his team. Now the most defender-sided bomb site on this entire map unfolds in front of our eyes. Cast CCTV upstairs, and I suspect this will be a garage push. They were already starting to shoot away at those garage panels. Quite a heavy investment from KDS, and a very default setup here with the Kiba barriers being used for protection. The ADS is poised to eat up whatever's thrown or shot in that direction. KDS will sit and govern over it.
Boyd's going to try to use these smokes with the glass to get that pick onto KDS. He's hoping to just smoke himself in the doorway, peek out, and then pray that he gets swung by KDS. There will be some Capitao bolts at the same time to try to force the movements. Here it comes out now.
And I mean, as long as you can slowly move this glass, you can do some serious damage, but Boyd is having some struggles. KDS is watching the fire around him, and he has to reposition. He manages to get away because of the coverage from his teammates. Handy, the first kill as Ambi drops. Ambi is taking quite a bit of damage. Ambi, the first casualty yet again. That's not the player that you want to be losing time and time again, especially on the utility-heavy striker that likely brought some explosives or flashes or something that could have been used to great effect for the Rebellion.
Surface begging to get a kill on the KDS. He's so low HP already. They've used all their Capitao bolts. They've really struggled to clear him out of this spot. He's playing so passive now that they can just walk in bottom garage, but all eyes are on KDS right now.
And he's just lasted for so long, Jesse, living much longer than many would have suspected. KDS and Handy very limited on HP. KDS gets punished for it. Handy is still low on HP, but he can persist over towards blue. Vidaking will join him on just a sliver of HP, and they will get the Aruni on the run. Souls and Cyber still at full HP. Well, Cyber actually is taking a bit of damage too now. So it's just all up to Souls. As you can see on the side of the Rebellion, they've taken a beating. Spoit is barely alive. Rexon has lost about a fifth of his HP, give or take.
Canadian's got to make it to site. He's still bottom garage, Parker. A bit of a journey to make it up there. He'll have time, but not a whole lot. He's going over to platform to play with his teammates.
3 players on Shopify Rebellion all rocking that new DMR. The only one not using it is the Glass, who, oh my, will bring a very different weapon to this fight as he looks to jiggle peek around. Souls has that one lined up. Handy yet another. Souls in this position, fisting for a third, can't land it. Surf rushing in with very limited time, and he knows that he has to stick the plant. As from down below, Vidaking will do the job. All credit goes to Souls there in his position. Surf was in this spot where you just gotta stick it. If you don't, you lose the round either way. FaZe Clan take the lead.
Really nice little stall there coming out from FaZe Clan. It felt like Shopify Rebellion just had wasted all their utility. Not too early, because you do want to use it on the Raptors position, don't get me wrong, but it took so long to find the kill onto KDS. Then Canadian from bottom garage rotated all the way out the door, up the platform. Time was really, really low, and they had no more smokes to go for that execute. The Capitao bolts were completely out. The Glass had no smokes to try to play with some garbage angles that you can't fight back against. All of the utility from Shopify had been used before the execute, just trying to get that Raptors position. So despite having the numbers advantage from Shopify, the angles were better from FaZe Clan, the time was better for FaZe Clan, and they were able to just catch SR as they were running into sight.
I was hoping we'd hear it a third time.
It sounded like he was yelling across, like he was trash talking Shopify Rebellion. I'm quite certain none of their players speak Portuguese though, so they would not be mentally affected by that. But sometimes it's good just to boost your own team's morale, you know? Why not?
Yeah, I mean, let off some energy, let off some stress. If you had a particularly tense round, why not, right? But no, I mean, one question I do need to ask is why did it take so long for Spoit to get in position in Rafters? I mean, you used the Glass to good effect. A ton of utility was done to relinquish FaZe Clan of their hold on that part of the map, and then it honestly felt like Spoit was a bit of an afterthought in that position. When you've got the breach open, that Glass can hold a pretty decent cross. It's not going to win you the round by itself, but it will certainly help. Souls found himself in a position where they weren't expecting him in the previous round. Now he finds himself in familiar territory. Playing inside a dirt tunnel as they'll open it up.
Breaching here.
And then they'll go to work, popping some holes in that CCTV wall, which will force Cyber to get up from his position. This is the bottom floor yet again.
It's really good that Souls is getting this information that there are players pressuring Dirt early, because it says that, hey, there might be a fast push that is ignoring our roam game. Unlike on round number 1, FaZe Clan have opted for a very aggressive strategy where they've put Vidaking on the top floor, KDS roaming on that scope post, even Cyber still on that main floor. They've drawn it back a little bit, but I doubt this roam will ever be fully gone unless SR come in and clear it themselves. They've committed to playing this more aggressively. If Souls does get cleaned up inside of Dirt Tunnel, that could open up a big gap, but Souls doesn't give up his life easily. He knows how important it is for him to stay alive in that spot.
Staying alive. A good song by the Bee Gees, but an even greater motto that is being practiced oh so effectively by Souls, still persisting in this position down in Dirt Tunnel. Popped one of those Goyo canisters. 20 seconds is what it buys you. Speaking of the Goyo,
They don't really have map control, Parker. They've got a little bit of kitchen control. Ambi and Rexon are working their way down blue as we speak, so this is kind of what the push is looking like, but there's not a ton of options.
And Spoit's just gonna drop. What map control do you need if you've got the element of surprise? But Handy is not surprised in the slightest. 2 kills in his hands, Souls with 1 as well, playing inside of Dirt. Ambi and Canadian will now need to start racking up the kills. The Blackbeard of Canadian gets 1. But he's got a lot more to do. Souls has been dropped, and Canadian will have to maneuver his way over there, but a crossfire is established, and Handy gets a 3rd kill for his trouble. They had surrendered control of that defuse kit underneath the kitchen hatch, as it was a dead drop from Shopify Rebellion that goes nowhere. FaZe Clan really not showing many weaknesses on this map either.
I think SR we're hoping for something a bit
easier. I think the biggest thing for these last 2 rounds is just pay attention to the time, because in my opinion, we're self-stalling out a lot. That round is a bit different, but I also think we could have called to just rotate off way quicker, right? We can pull and move around the map, right? I think we just need to trust what we're doing and commit to it, right? So if we want to clear Jim over here, we just commit to doing it. We just need to be quick about it. Because a lot of this is our mid-round. We're sitting there thinking about what to do when, to be honest, we already know what to do.
Okay.
Yeah. Right? Like, let's get to where we need to be. Say what you need. Let's get decisive. Let's start doing it, guys. We got 2 attacks here. Let's get some on the board, right?
For that.
Stop playing against ourselves. We're playing against them. Teamwork, count shit down, play together. Okay, let's fucking go.
Get it, guys. Be fast.
Self-stalling, I think the key phrase uttered by Super in that TAC timeout, and it's something that we've definitely been seeing from Shopify Rebellion the last couple of rounds. I talked about it when that CC round came through, about how they took a long time to rotate from Garage up over towards the platform, and then he's talking about Dirt Tunnel there as well when he says we could have called to rotate off a little bit earlier. He's absolutely right. They took a long time staring at Dirt. They were hoping that that would be an easy entry point given how much FaZe had committed to their own game, but there were Goyo canisters and the smoke canisters and so much denial that they had to eventually decide, listen, this is not going to be our way into sight. They didn't end up with a very good plan B because they committed so late to falling off of Dirt Tunnel. They hot drop in through Kitchen, and I mean, Nade's twin brother makes quick work of them dropping. So really good round for FaZe Clan.
10 seconds to
Not
go.
having to do too much in the midst of it. It is really Shopify beating themselves right now.
5 seconds left.
Go all the way back to Nighthaven Labs. All 15 rounds obviously needed for Shopify Rebellion to win their own map. When we watch them, we often harped on how weak they were through that mid-round and especially the late round. To back up our point, we referenced the fact that of the 15 rounds played, 12 of those rounds, it was SR to get the opening pick. Now, things get a lot worse on Chalet. There was very little good for SR on Chalet. But to their credit, they did draw blood 3 times before FaZe did. Here on Clubhouse, it's been 50-50. 4 rounds played. We're in the 5th active round. And in that, Shopify Rebellion got the opening pick in rounds 1 and 2, and they won one of those rounds, but then dropped the second. So I'm glad that Super has said something that we have been pointing out for all 3 maps. The mid-round, what comes after you get the first volley of kills, or just the first kill, period. That's been the big issue for SR.
Very different hold from FaZe Clan as we go back to Gym Bedroom. This time it includes a Clash being rocked by Souls. He's positioned himself towards the construction side of the map, and I think the big difference between this round and the last time we were here in round 2 is just how little is being committed to that Cash side. Last time they had a Rafters player, they had that opening death to Ambi down inside of Customs. They were really focused on the eastern side of the map. This time, while they did start there, they reinforced the Cash walls. They've fallen off very early. They've kept all 5 players alive as they retreat back through construction. Honestly, at about the 60-second mark in this round, it did not take them very long to concede that ground. So Shopify Rebellion will take that space. Ambi and Spoit will maintain their positions over there, and now they can start to work towards the site, but there are a lot of players they're going to have to find. There's not a whole lot of space that they could be.
Swapped around which players are playing which operators, but it's still a pretty similar operator lineup that's being used by this SR team. Plenty to flesh out some of these defender gadgets. Rexon takes quite a beating as he's used all of his X-Cairo, so even if he does die, his job of opening things up as a hard breacher has been handled. It would have been pretty bad for this Shopify Rebellion team to lose that hard breach so quickly. Gone 6 is used to great effect. They blow it up, and what? KDS with a triple kill from a single Nitro cell, but immediately the Rebellion turn it back on its head. Ambi and Surf managing to narrow these numbers down back to a 2v2, back to even footing. They'll flash on in. Wamaya Cyber will now need to corner peek, but it's Surf all on his lonesome. Working his way through weight room, but he's having some trouble. They'll reposition. 10 seconds remaining. He has a good vantage point. Spraying through the wall. Now he'll try for another plant, running out of time, and Cyber will just play the clock with shotgun in hand. Past the point of no return, and Surf will not give him the benefit of a kill. I can't believe that 3 kills with a single nitro. That is absurd.
Parker, that was such a cool round to come through from FaZe Clan. I mean, on all levels, there were different back and forth about that, right? We saw immediately the Azami ban makes it a lot easier to plant inside a gym, right? You ban out that Azami so you don't have to use the Capitao. You can get that spot a lot better. Soul says, I'm going to play the Clash, and it's a really neat adaptation. He says, if I can play behind my Clash shield, as long as I'm not holding it, I can safely see you when you jump in the window. I can stop you from planting inside a gym. It's great. Right up until the shield dies. And when the shield gets blown up, Souls is in big trouble, immediately dies, but then, of course, KDS uses it as an opportunity to toss the nitro out. He gets that denial off, gets 3 kills as we saw, because, well, they're all grouped up on it, right? One guy had to shoot the Clash, one guy had to shoot the Gone 6, a third guy's just there for the vibes. Gets all 3 of them with the single nitro, and then for FaZe Clan, they can just play passive, play steady. You know that you're in the advantage point at that spot. Hit some really nice shot from Shopify Rebellion. Surfing that 1v1 against Cyber. He tries to go for the plants. I think if he goes for the kill, he might have a slightly better chance there, but I mean, Cyber's got a shotgun close range. There's really no winning from that situation. Cyber played it perfectly. Surf needed a mistake, and he didn't get it.
You're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
Surf found himself in a nearly unwinnable situation, but a great read onto the Valkyrie was terrific enough in its own right. Surf having a very good game, 7 kills, leading the Rebellion. The rest of Rebellion, 8 kills across those 4 players. So Surf a heat sink for kills at this current point in time. Final round of the first half, Jesse. FaZe have won it. They've got 4 rounds. A 5-1 is definitely possible. And honestly, could be bordering on probable territory with the way that FaZe has played so far.
We'll see. I think with the Azami ban, Rafters should be a lot easier to clear out for Shopify Rebellion. KDS is playing up there, but that's why Handy's getting aggressive. Loses the opening duel to Spoit. That's a nice shot from Willie to give the man advantage over to Shopify Rebellion. Makes it, again, very difficult to hold on to this Raptors position. Sure, you've got ADSs, sure, you've got the Surya gates, but in the end, they have enough burn on Shopify to clear this.
I don't know if Handy needed to do that swing, but I mean, why not? If you're feeling pretty good about yourself, then go for it. But
the FaZe Clan way.
The thing is that the Rebellion are not playing poorly. Like, they're not doing really badly. It's just FaZe are in a world of their own at this point in time. There are Shadows giving the position away yet again. Cyber has to take a bit of damage to work his way through to stock. Canadian dies. That's really quite unideal for the Rebellion. And as you can see, this is a full court press from FaZe Clan. They are engaging through doorways, through walls, through windows. Shopify Rebellion have struggled to take up space inside of the map because FaZe Clan are not even allowing them in the building.
FaZe are playing strats you can only do when you have some of the best gunners in the world. Cyber and Lounge, the swing from Handy. Even Souls was playing aggressive on the billiards window earlier in this round, and Shopify Rebellion cannot find a way past it. Finally, Surf gets the trade, but you're less than 60 seconds to go, Parker. You have not cleared out Raptors, which I claimed would be easy. The May Breach is open. At the very least, you've got that, and Spoit is still filled with 2 Candelas. They need to get value out of this utility.
And guess what he could see in his position? The shadow. He could see the shadow of Ying, and blind KDS still sprays away. They've got that bulletproof camera giving him intel as he's being hunted down in that position. Juggling around, waiting for the right call. Ambi's the lone survivor with 2 players from FaZe Clan to deal with. Not a lot of time to work through this. Ambi looking to go positive right now, still battling his own demons. He's recovered pretty well from Chalet. But it's FaZe doing FaZe things, and Souls loves that perch inside a cash. 5-1 the first half for the defending world champs.
It just feels like everything Shopify Rebellion want to do, FaZe are 1 step ahead.
Yep.
I mean, they know exactly what to do. When the Azami gets banned, they've planned for that. They've got backup strategies on how to play that. On Jim, that means playing the Clash. On CCTV Cash, that means getting hyper-aggressive with roamers in billiards, with roamers in lounge, with big swings on garage. They know when they need to play aggro. They know when they can rein things in. If their utility's not good enough, that's okay. They'll find another way to win the round. Just an impossible team to attack against, and they go up 5-1 through this half on the deciding map. The scoreline obviously looks a lot more like map 2 than map 1, Parker, but I really feel like the level of game that we're seeing feels more like map 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I get kind of worried for just the competitiveness of this game. And there we go. We see the highlights from this position. This one was quite spectacular.
Yeah. Dude, like, you can hardly see him. He's a blur.
I'm eager to see how FaZe tackles these next two games of theirs because not that I don't have the utmost confidence in Shopify Rebellion, but I mean, we walked into this group thinking, okay, FaZe is probably going to be the Titan that emerges first, but Shopify Rebellion have looked pretty good. G2 have probably fixed their issues.
I think after the hot start, taking down G2 at the very first playday, Shopify Rebellion will be heading into their off day tomorrow, not feeling so great. I mean, I think they played a lot better today than yesterday. Nobody's going to deny that, but D plus Kia was one of the more beatable teams in this group. You beat G2. FaZe Clan were probably not going to be one that were ever going to be a simple task, though I'm sure they believed they could do it. Last playday, they'll play Black Dragons. You have to imagine they'll be the favorites in that one. But even still, you never like going into that final playdate in a bottom spot where they very well could be.
I mean, it is a good time to get a bit of a reprieve. If you've got some issues, you can work through those on your off day.
True.
A reminder for those that have not heard us say this yet, or rather new information, or a reminder for those that have heard us and have forgotten, a victory here by FaZe Clan, didn't matter if they did it in 2 maps or 3 maps, guarantees that both FaZe Clan and D plus Kia will move on to Phase 2. They will avoid elimination here in the very first set of groups at SI. 4 teams will go home. We already know one of those teams is Elevate. We're waiting on who the next 3 will be. At this current point in time, Black Dragons are at the bottom of this group. If you're Shopify Rebellion, that is your last chance to pick up points. That is your final opponent. Once this FaZe Clan match is done, SR have a day off and then Black Dragons to wrap up the groups. You just have to not be last. And right now, BD is sitting in that situation. Spoit had a rough go of it. He was eliminated pretty early on in this round, but since then, nothing much else, Jesse, has happened.
KDS loves this Nook. It's the second time he's brought it out so far in this series. And of course, with that new DMR, it hits like a truck. Keep it silent so that you can try to maintain some level of stealth. And KDS has done a great job at pressuring these roamers. We did also see Rexon was roaming very nearby to Spoit inside of Customs, but decided to take the drop, decided he didn't want to maintain that spot. So instead, he'll just retreat back to site, confident in this 4v5, hoping that FaZe will waste their own time, much like SR did, and not have the utility to go for this final push.
Candela's going out, and as you hear that, you can see the silhouette from Shopify Rebellion as one of their players decides to forego an active hold inside of Escape Tunnel / Dirt Tunnel. Out go the bees. Utility will now be dropped on in. It's a relatively quick push now with a minute to go. Nitro Cell almost getting Vida King. Handy finds a second kill for his trouble. The King gets one, Cyber the other, and Jesse, 6-1 for FaZe Clan, series point.
I mean, what can you do? The early game is great from FaZe Clan. They're able to spot out those roamers. They know exactly when things fall back. They time things so well. They've got an extra 45 seconds to spare in that round. You said it. They dropped pretty early, but they had everything they need. They had the map control. The hatches were open. They were ready with their Candelas. Vida King, great job dodging that Nitro Cell. Could have been a very different round if he goes down in the midst of that to Rexon, but instead sidesteps it, lives on a sliver of HP, then downs the Mira right after. Canadian doesn't get a whole lot done, dies to Handy as he's pushing through parts of this map as well. Pressure towards blue, pressure towards dirt. It just looks like a really clean push from FaZe Clan, and Shopify Rebellion in danger of going down 7-1 for the 4th time in 2 days.
Not good.
Not good.
Bomb located by attackers.
On the other side, if they do win 7-1, this will be FaZe Clan's 4th 7-1 victory in 5 maps, Jesse.
Sorry,
remaining.
3rd time in 2 days. They did lose 7-4 to D plus Kia player.
See, chat,
let me correct myself.
I defer numbers to Jesse all the time because he's a numberologist.
I caught it.
He did catch it.
Watch this!
And so when Jesse says, is it this number? I always go, sure, Jesse.
Sometimes I miss things too.
You know what? Every morning I wake up and I say to myself, I trust Jesse's numbers, and then I have a nice big cup of Folgers and just enjoy my day, you know?
You love this bit. You really do.
It's becoming a thing. Folgers is such awful coffee. And when we were discussing the bit afterwards, Jesse's like, you kept saying Folgers, and I wanted to be like, Folgers is bad. And I was like, that's the point.
Yeah.
The point is that I think it's good. Or at least the joke thinks it's good. But no, can you imagine FaZe Clan wins this 7-1? It will be their 4th 7-1 victory in 5 maps.
Yeah.
The only map that they dropped was literally as close as it could possibly be a 7-8 loss to Shopify Rebellion on the Rebellion's map.
FaZe are in full form, Parker. They look absolutely unbeatable, hoping to be the 2nd team in history to go back-to-back in 6 Invitational victories, of course, after G2 in 2019. This would be a big moment for them. They're still early in their journey. They're still early in this round, relatively. They've cleared through the eastern part of the map. Cache is under their control, as is CCTV. Construction is being worked on. Ambi still holds it with some Kiba barriers. Canadian on the Clash has fallen off all the way back to site. Jacuzzi remains closed with just the mirror window. Not seeing any pressure on Logi just yet either. So for FaZe Clan, just really working with Con at the moment.
Ambi dies, and that might be the start of the end for Shopify Rebellion here in this series. If so, it's been a very valiant effort, but FaZe are just FaZe Clan, and I hope that people don't take away from this that Shopify Rebellion are not up to the task, but just how utterly and absurdly dominant this FaZe team is. Through these 5 maps that we've seen, there really hasn't been an Achilles heel. There's been no weakness from FaZe Clan.
No.
Even their matchup in map 1 against SR, they didn't really have any weaknesses. They just got beat by a team that knows the map even better. Vidiking manages to pull the diffuser down successfully. 9 players still alive with the objective planted. KDS removing Rexton's head. Looking for another. Vidiking eliminating Surf. Canadian is gone. And it's all up to Willie. A flawlessly won final round and a 4th 7-1 victory for FaZe Clan. Who is going to take this team down? What does it take?
It just looks like an undoable task. FaZe Clan so strong early at the 6th Invitational. Vidiking for the 5th time in his career, taking down Canadian, a 5-0 record now in the battle of the IGLs. Shopify Rebellion get tomorrow off. They can take some time to review these last couple days of matches, but you have to imagine they'll be back with a fire under their asses. If they're not, they could be going home.
And FaZe Clan have now clinched a spot in Phase 2 alongside D+ Kia, who happens to be their opponent tomorrow. An incredible game for both these teams, but oh my goodness, doesn't FaZe look good. Justy, that's quite the match.
It absolutely is, Parker, but I think that's about it for us. We've got a studio ready to break this game down. And